The Deal golf cart at seizethedeal.com.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Haley, quote, "Navage is the best thing I bought. I love it. My nose feels so clear now and I can breathe. I've been struggling with a stuffy nose for weeks. I bought Navage and it's amazing." Or this one, "I use Navage every night, could not imagine life without it. I have 5 cats, and before I found Navage, I was a clogged mess. Now I breathe so much better." Unquote. Those are 2 of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, Navage, clean nose, healthy life.
Keeler Show today. It's time to read the news and weather. Time to figure out what to say. It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today. Why do we always listen? Keeler's always in the know. It makes me want to call him and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started. It's time to get things started. On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, here we go with the day after the storm, the big storm. Although I got to say, I don't know if you feel it, Davey, but that snow just kept, it wasn't the heaviest snow we've ever seen, but it just kept falling all day long and falling and falling. I think we ended up with we're going to speak with the meteorologist, Craig Flint, coming up in a few minutes, but I think we ended up with about, close to a foot after all.
Yeah.
By the time it was all said and done. It just kept coming down. That, I don't know if you shoveled any, you did. That was heavy snow.
Yeah, I was going to snow blow, but the driveway that where we're at was all muddy, and I didn't want to destroy it, so I ended up shoveling.
It was muddy.
Yeah.
Good boy. We have a ton to get to here today, and I want to start by telling you that there are a few schools that are on a delay here this morning. Mostly these are the South got hit harder than we did. So 2 hours south. It was hit a little harder. So these schools are on a delay this morning. Cooperstown is on a 2-hour delay. Hamilton is on a 2-hour delay. Madison, 2 hours. Morrisville, Eaton is on a 2-hour delay. No A.M. BOCES, no pre-K today. O&D Young on a 2-hour delay. Richfield Springs, along with Waterville, all on a 2-hour delay here this morning. Everybody else is going at it and is rolling away here on a Wednesday morning. We have a lot to get to. I'm going to tell you, coming up in a few minutes, we'll speak with meteorologist Craig Flint on the storm. I think he had the storm pretty perfectly.
Yeah, I watched him last night, and then after he got done, he was talking to Jamie Agley, his cohort worker there. And he says, Monday is beginning of spring. And then he hinted another storm could be brewing up later in the week.
Well, it could be. And what we're looking at is there's another storm that'll be coming across the country. California's getting hit all over again. And we'll speak with him on that. Are people, procrastinating since COVID when it comes to getting their colonoscopies and getting tested? That early detection for cancer is such a big deal. We'll speak with Tim Reed this morning of Real Men Get Tested. Tim will be in studio. Also, this morning, Howard Potter has issues with the Utica School Board. We'll get his take. He's a local business person, of course, and he's on. Tanya J. Powers in a little while about the effects of the storm. There are areas, especially to the east, that got hit quite badly with a lot of snow. We're talking about feet. And some areas still getting affected by this storm, especially on the East Coast. I've got a woman this morning who was, and this is National Women's Month. And this week, I think today might be National Equal Pay Day, or maybe it was yesterday. Whatever it is, that whole effort is to see that women get the same opportunities as men get when it comes to salaries. But this woman, whose name is Kimberly, had a job. She saw that her company had posted her job as being open with a higher salary than she's making. So she applied for her own job, and we'll tell you what happened with her. Actually, she'll tell you what happened. Also, Ryan Nobles from NBC is on. If you watch any of NBC Nightly News with Lester Holt, Ryan is on almost every night. Man, this was a good move for his career.
When I was here on Friday, when you guys were all at the Marlog, he was on he was doing a live shot for the Today Show.
Yeah, he's either on the Today Show or on NBC Nightly News. And today is the 15th of March. It's the Ides of March. And guess what returns to television tonight? Or today?
Ted Lasso.
Ted Lasso. Do you watch it?
I'm on season 1, and I'm just starting season 2.
Okay.
So I'm a little late in the game, but I've enjoyed it.
You're in it, right?
Yeah.
Once you get started. In the beginning, when I first watched it, I'm like, I'm not a soccer fan. I wouldn't be interested in this. And you just dig in, and you get very, very attached to his character, I think.
I didn't like the first 2 episodes of season 1 and season 1, but once I got it, I'm into it. But I got to catch up and watch the other.
I think you got to, once you get into it, and then you're hooked. Once you're hooked, and you're hooked. Okay, what else can I get to here this morning? That plane yesterday, and we broke this story during the morning hours, that Hancock Airport in Syracuse was reporting that a plane went off the tarmac yesterday. And there's a whole story we have up on our website about it at WIBX950.com. You can check it out. And I will say that I think it had to do with the weather yesterday.
There was one incident in Rochester, too.
That was if you saw it in the wind, that plane, that plane almost crashed on landing. That was quite a scene. That was on the news last night. Anyway, the plane at Hancock Airport was the new Delta A220-100, which is one of their new Airbus planes that ended up going off the tarmac and went nose down into the grass up at Hancock and Syracuse. The plane was bound for LaGuardia Airport in New York City. It ended up sitting there through the day, nose down in a grassy area, 61 passengers. I don't believe anybody was injured, and it's being hinted, although the airline and the airport is not saying what caused it, it's being hinted that it was all about icy conditions on the tarmac yesterday. And listen, it was pretty slick. It was a very wet snow. Also up on our website, you can check out, do you know that we were, during the 1960s, in America, there were about 4,000 drive-in movie theaters. Today, there are about 350 in the country. And we have more drive-in theaters than anybody else in the world. And then in New York, do you know how many drive-in theaters there are in New York? New York has more drive-in movie theaters than any state in the country. Do you know how many there are in New York? The answer is about 30. That's it. That's all that's left. And there are none directly in our area. However, if you, the closest to us is, okay, go ahead.
I know of 2.
All right.
There's one up near Lowville.
There is. And maybe that one is about an hour away from us.
And isn't there one near like Nelliston, Fonda
in
area?
in Palatine Bridge, which is about 50 minutes from Utica, and maybe a little quicker if you get on the thruway and get off at Canajoharie. But it's the El Rancho Drive-In Theater. We've taken our kids there when they were younger, and everybody else is closed. West Rome was the last one to close.
Oh, I used to go to West Rome
Yeah,
all the time.
so did we. I mean, everybody went. Marcy, right down the street, there used to be one. The Schuyler Drive-In. There were, I don't know, 7 or 8 in our area. There's a whole story about it and the number and a listing of the theaters that are still around. The reason I'm bringing it up is when you start talking about a drive-in theater, you're talking about springtime. And they're scheduled, the El Rancho is scheduled to open in the second week of April. However, it could be delayed. Of course, could be delayed if the weather doesn't make the right turn for us. So we'll see what happens. As of right now, I don't know. There's really no real end to winter in sight as of right now. I mean, it's coming, but we're just not there. Did you watch any sports yesterday, Davey? Big game for Pitt.
I actually, like I said to you earlier, I watched a little bit of the first game, and then I fell asleep, and then I woke up this morning to see the Pittsburgh advanced.
They won, and it was a pretty. I watched the full game, and at the end of the game, Mississippi had a chance to score. They had a 3-point shot that would have won the game for them. It bounced off the rim, bounced again, and it was not in. And the winner, Pittsburgh, they advance into the tournament.
How about the huge news from Syracuse?
I did see that Boeheim was on the Dan Patrick Show. What's the news?
No, the transfer portal opened up, and the guy from Baldwinsville, Starling, J.J. Starling, that was playing for Notre Dame, committed to Syracuse.
I almost feel like the moves that have just recently been made is appealing for younger players.
And he said the reason why he chose Syracuse is because Baldwinsville is close to his house in his hometown, and Adrian Autry was recruiting him before he...
okay, and now Autry's the
right.
the head coach. Boeheim was on the Dan Patrick Show and said he 100% was ready to retire. And what we learned is he had 1 year left on his contract, so he was going to retire next year anyway. But said he was ready to go and wanted to get done. I don't believe it. Not the way the whole thing went down. I just don't know that that is. I don't know. That's what he's saying, though. 100% was ready to get out. Country star Jake Owen is going to be coming to the Turning Stone Resort and Casino. Davey, you're a big country fan. He's pretty big, right?
Yeah, Barefoot Blue Jean Nights and Beachin'. I've seen him twice. Puts on a great show. So if you get a chance, go out to Turning Stone and go see him.
And as I said, that is going to be coming up in August. Tickets will be going on sale real soon. In Rome, a woman was arrested on Tuesday morning after police found meth during a traffic stop, and a lot of it. Tiffany Morey was stopped by police in a stop for a traffic violation. But as police investigated, they found 167 grams of methamphetamine. She was arrested and charged with felony criminal possession of a controlled substance. Also, that there have been a lot of break-ins. There was a story on national news. Davey, you can grab him if you want. There was a story on national news yesterday about the vehicle break-ins and car thefts that have been occurring, not just here, and there was another one here locally, an attempt locally, but the fact that they are happening around the country, including car thefts, and it's a big thing. And there are some cars, because you can unlock the door with an app, that people are able to break into quite easily just by following instructions on the web. And one more, the guy who was threatening people allegedly with a long gun in Utica has been arrested. That happened on Monday evening. UPD called to the 1600 block of Elm Street in the afternoon with a man being a report of a man with a gun. When the front door was open, the suspect allegedly showed a long gun inside a bag and pointed at the victims, who then slammed the door. Nobody injured. They later identified the man as 27-year-old Duran Poole of Utica, and police have made an arrest. We talked about that storm yesterday. A lot of predictions out there. I do have a message from Richard this morning, who, in a gentleman fashion, said, you know what, I think I might have gotten this one wrong. The storm really stalled over the area and dumped a little more snow than he had expected. But if you looked at the forecast from Craig Flint, I think he nailed it, and nailed the fact that more snow was going to be falling during the day yesterday, and it did. It really, all of the snow we received really came down between 4 a.m. and probably 5 p.m. yesterday. Meteorologist from WTR and Fox 33, Craig Flint, on the line right now. I'd say you got this one correctly. Craig, good morning.
Hey, good morning. So, yeah, I love it when a plan comes together. You know, sometimes the weather can be finicky, especially when it comes to forecasting nor'easters and snowstorms. So we'll take the win. The forecast worked out pretty well.
So, who got the most of the snow in this storm?
The highest that I had, the highest report that I saw locally was, I'm just trying to recall. I want to say, I know New Hartford, New Yorkville's got just under a foot. Down towards Decoit, they got 16 inches.
Wow.
And then down in Cooperstown, I got a report of 24 inches. The highest was up in the Adirondacks, Indian Lake, way up there. Got 31 inches of snow from that storm yesterday.
Wow. So this was would you call this a classic nor'easter?
Textbook.
Yeah.
I mean, just watching how this whole thing evolved. A lot of times what happens is you have an old kind of what we call primary area of low pressure, which is usually the guy that tracks up through the Great Lakes. And as that storm tracks up through the Great Lakes, it tends to weaken and throws all of its energy to the East Coast, which in turn gives birth essentially to a new area of low pressure. And those two packages of energy in the atmosphere, if you will, they phase and become one big storm. And that's exactly what we had going on, that process yesterday and the other night. So textbook nor'easter for sure.
And then, Craig, I'd ask you, there is some word that maybe we might be looking at another next week. Are you feeling that? Are you seeing that?
You know what? Of course, we always keep an eye, on the long-range forecast, but I tend not to get too worried about it this early because it's probably going to change.
You're right.
And
You're right.
I've already heard talks, of another major storm next week. Listen, if I'm going to be totally honest with you, when I hear people say that, I'm like, don't have a cow.
That's
right. Like it's still 6, 7, 10 days away. It's absolutely ridiculous to even start talking about it. We're not going to be able to key in on that for another several days. Is there a chance that it could happen? Yes, but I'm not worried about it right now. I take it one storm at a time.
And you talked about this earlier in the week that keep your eyes on the end of the week. As temperatures start to warm up, we'll be close to 50 by Friday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's solidly mid-40s at least, and then there's going to be some wet weather on top of that, which could lead to some other issues, really.
Right.
With melted snow, you throw a little rain on top of that. We have to watch out for the potential for some minor flooding, which, occurs as you get into this month and this time of year here in central New York. The other thing, too, is with temperatures as they get in the 40s during the day and drop below freezing at night, any of that moisture will refreeze. So untreated surfaces even though it was raining and 46, 47 degrees, at night could get a little icy again. So just a few things that I'm keeping an eye on for later this week.
All right. Well, one thing is for sure that any of the wetness and that wet snow, if you still had it on in your driveway or on your roof as of right now, it is frozen this morning. It's chilly this morning.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's crunchy out there.
No doubt. Craig Flint, meteorologist at WTR, thank you. And as I said, you nailed this one. Nice job.
Thank you very much. Let's see. Let's hopefully, if and when the next one comes, let's hopefully it all goes as planned as well.
That's right. Yes, and let's hope that you did say one thing. You said also earlier in the week is that once we hit, and this might have been the first time we had you on, once we hit March 15th, and today the Ides of March, the chances of those big storms decrease dramatically.
They do. There could still be storms, but, with the temperature, the sun getting way up high in the sky, the temperature is going up, it's really hard to get a true snowstorm. I'm not saying it's impossible, it's just much harder to do. So we're rapidly approaching that date here.
Okay. All right. Craig Flint, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You do the same. And I got to say, Davey, when he comes on in the morning, he's been up late last night, so we always appreciate the fact that he takes the time to get up bright and early with us. And as I said, he nailed the forecast. 6:36 in a second. We'll talk to Tanya Powers. How did the storm affect the Northeast? Some areas got hit far worse than we did. And still, at the end of the day, yesterday I think was the anniversary of that storm. If you remember, at one point we were getting like 6 or 7 inches an hour. This is the storm that Mayor Palmieri went out and banged his head up. And I believe it was like 5-6 years ago to the day yesterday. Yeah, and we received like 3 feet of snow. So we certainly have had it far worse. But yesterday was a bit on the messy side. By all means. Hold on tight. We'll talk to Tanya Powers coming up in a second. 6:37 at WIBX.
COVID is still spreading. Don't let your guard down. Anyone can get severely ill from COVID. But your risk is greater if you're over 65, if you're obese, have heart or lung disease, diabetes, or another underlying health condition. Lower your risk of serious illness, hospitalization, and death with the most up-to-date COVID vaccines, including the booster. Learn more at ny.gov/booster.
Start a new career and get a great paycheck, earning up to $39 per hour, plus strong benefits, a job you love, a solid pension, and brothers and sisters who always have your back. Your union construction career with Laborers Local 190 starts today. As a member of Local 190, you'll build the Mohawk Valley's future and get state-of-the-art training to do it safely. Earn more. Build your future. Apply today by texting JOBS to 345-345.
Hi, I'm Max Carbone, sales manager at Power Sports Utica. We are currently overstocked on 2023 Ski-Doo models, and we are offering up to $2,000 off sticker plus a $500 gift card for anything in the store. Kawasaki KLR models have $1,000 in rebates as well, and we have all colors and trims available in stock and ready for delivery. Kawasaki KLX models have $400 in rebate and up to $1,500 off KX models. Come visit us at Power Sports Utica, Central New York's Four Seasons toy store.
Hi, this is Lori with Express Employment Professionals. Are you looking for a new job, a career change, a position within your field? Express Employment Professionals is the staffing firm for you. Express has multiple job opportunities across many industries throughout our region. Are you an IT professional? Find that perfect company now. CNC machinists, HVAC and boiler mechanics? We've got the job for you. Are you a warehouse worker, machine operator, forklift driver? Find a better job now. Industrial painters, sheet metal workers, find that new job now. Carpenters, welders, the skilled trades, you're in demand. Bookkeepers, supply chain specialists, and administrative professionals, start a new career today. Our process is easy. Go to expressmohawkvalley.com to complete our online application and apply now. Our recruiters will call you to set up a meeting. You can also call our office at 315-790-5723. Express Employment Professionals. We make it our business to put you to work.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone, America's #1 brakes destination. We have the pads, rotors, drums, shoes, and brake fluids to improve your stopping power. Right now, save 15% when you get any 2 Duralast rotors with a set of Duralast brake pads. Missing a tool? Ask about our free Loan-A-Tool program and borrow the tools you need to get the job done.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the MPD Group 2021. Deposit required for Loan-A-Tool.
Hello, Don Hartman from the Potting Shed Antiques. Nancy and I want to invite the community to shop the Potting Shed Antiques throughout the madness of March and save 40% off your entire purchases. Shop over 3,000 square feet and take 40% off furniture, antiques, jewelry, finished glass, china, art, clocks, lighting, and so much more. Excludes coins and gold jewelry. Save all month long at the Potting Shed Antiques or visit us online anytime at thepottingshedantiques.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
A couple of other stories out there that are making the news here today. And man, you remember that story a long time ago with a woman who had the pet, she had a pet monkey. Do you remember? And there was the woman that was with her in the car, and the monkey went crazy. And remember, it tore her face off. There's another story out there. A woman in Oklahoma had a pet monkey, and the monkey nearly completely ripped off her ear. The monkey had escaped at a nearby neighbor's house. Here's Brittany Parker talking about the traumatizing attack that occurred. Ultimately, the monkey had to be put down. It was out there attacking people. Here's what they had to say that happened.
I looked out the window, and there was a monkey looking at me, and I took a second take, and I was like, there's the monkey on the front porch. He was trying to get into my house, the little button that you push in on your screen door. He had broke it off. I was literally hanging on to the door, trying to hold my door closed. He crawled, jumped up my back, and landed on my head, grabbed handfuls of hair, and just ripped it out, and then ripped my ear almost completely off of my head.
She's talking about it today. And have you ever heard anybody say, there's a monkey on our porch? Very few people have ever said that. She said it got into the house and practically ripped her ear off. She called authorities. Authorities came. They had to shoot and kill the monkey. Down goes the monkey. Terrible. 911 dispatcher in Florida is being praised for helping save a baby that fell into a pool. All of it done over the phone. Here is the 911 call released by the Sheriff's Department.
911, where's your emergency?
Baby fell in the pool. Hurry up,
Okay,
please.
get the baby out. Stay on the line with me. Stay on the line. Get the baby out of the water. Okay, is the baby breathing?
No, she's not.
Okay, is anyone there trained in CPR?
No, we're not.
Okay.
Please help.
They're on the way. I'm going to tell you what to do, okay? Turn her on her side. We won't need water to drain out if she got any in there, okay? Put the baby flat on her back. I want you to take one hand, place it on the center of her chest between the nipples, and to press down to a depth of 1 inch, okay? We're going to do 30 compressions.
She did 30 compressions, followed the instructions of the 911 operator, and the baby survived. A real big positive end to that. Could have been terrible. Silicon Valley Bank, that's the bank that went down. If you go on eBay, you can find a whole bunch of stuff being sold online from the Silicon Valley Bank. Apparently, employees they've all lost their jobs, and they've put all this swag up online. You can buy it as like a souvenir.
Oh, so they're selling like pens and paper clips and everything?
Right. And,
letter openers. And...
maybe a toaster. I don't know. Shirts and that sort of thing being sold on eBay. You can look for it.
Golf balls.
If you want golf balls, right? Yeah, they have all that stuff. And this video of 2 elderly men taking their first ride in a driverless car is winning hearts and minds of people all across the internet. A younger woman is with them in the passenger seat. They are in the back. One of them is like soundbite gold. Listen to just some of what he says as he watches in amazement, beginning with how others are looking into this driverless car. Here we go.
Look at that guy. He didn't know what to think. A Jaguar, you know what these cost? Jaguar? Huh! What is happening to this world? You sure this ain't a cop car? How in the world, Amanda? This made my day, Amanda.
Me too.
This made my day. If older people could afford it, that'd be good for us old fogies once we lose our license, or even when we don't.
Think about it. You'd be able to drive all around. I love the guy. British man did not realize he was biting into a prize-winning Cadbury egg. Snacking in the back. There's a guy that's snacking in the back of his camping van, accidentally eating 2 colored Cadbury cream eggs, and they were worth $12,000. He didn't realize he was eating a half white, half chocolate egg, which Cadbury had placed in stores for people to find. If someone found it, they would win $12,000. The problem is he ate the egg. He ate the egg, Davey. Terrible.
Here's the golden ticket for Willy
I've got a
Wonka and the
Cadbury's
Chocolate Factory.
You're absolutely right. It's the same type of contest. Here's the audio.
In fact, I'm going to tuck into this right now. Do you know how long it's been since I've been in this van? That was the one. But why do I always eat the good stuff first? Now I'm left with apple. Ugh.
Leave it to the Brits and making something eventful uneventful. I personally think that was completely made up. It sounds it anyway. And of course, it was posted online. Storm hitting the area yesterday and hitting the northeast. How did it affect the rest of the area? For us, we have some spots in our vicinity with about 16, 17 inches of snow. Other areas with about 10 or 11 inches of very heavy, wet snow. But there are areas in the northeast that got hit hard. Here's Tanya J. Powers from Fox News with an update. Good morning.
Hey, good morning.
So we ended up with close to a foot when it was all said and done. But it was a slow kind of storm that the snow just kept coming all day long. But there are parts around the state that got hit pretty good.
Yeah, and this was we were kind of warned, when they put out the early, warnings for this on Monday morning, especially. They said, this is probably going to hit Monday evening and go into Wednesday. It was just, like you said, it was very slow. It was not a, dump all the snow, get out of here kind of storm.
Right.
It just sort of lingered, and that has caused some areas to get, a few inches. Some got a few feet, depending on where they were in the, New England states. The power outages as of this hour looks like New Hampshire still got about 69,000 without power, Maine about 60,000, Massachusetts about 30,000, and New York State about 33,000 still without power at this point this morning. As far as what's going to be expected today, it looks like it's going to be tapering off, at some point up in the morning today. The winds are still going to be pretty gusty through this afternoon, which means, there could be it could take longer to get the power back on, or even more power outages depending on, where it's at. I know parts of Massachusetts, they were worried about some coastal flooding and some beach erosion there last night, according to the Weather Service. There were also, of course, in New Hampshire, a lot of closings, delays. Schools had to switch to remote learning because of the storm. Maine is still going to have winter weather advisories until, I think, 2 this afternoon. They're going to get, they're worried, their big worry is going to be about some of those 30 to 40 mile an hour winds through this afternoon.
It is interesting if you're closer to the coast. Today is still an issue, as that storm is still hitting part of those areas. We just got cold here, and really everything is basically stopped here. But almost a foot of snow, between probably 7 and 12 inches. Some areas as much as 15, 16 inches of snow here. But when this is all said and done, the flooding becomes a real problem, especially along the coast. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, the coastal flooding is something that's, always a worry, like you said, whenever there's a nor'easter or a big snowstorm or something like that. Hopefully things will, warm up and get a little bit easier to move around, especially for some of those areas with the power outages, so that we can get the lights back on.
getting those lights back on. I would think we're pretty much done with this. I don't know about you, but it's time to move on and watch the cherry trees blossom. We're all ready for that.
I'm fine with that as well because I've given up. I don't think I'm not going to get my snow here in the city. I'm just not going to get my snow that I hoped for. So let's just move on. Let's move on to spring.
And you're coming off. New York City's coming off a winter where last winter it might have been one of the snowiest winters, at least in a long time last year. But this year it hasn't happened.
Last year was not even comparable to about 10 years ago when I moved here in 2013, and the winters in 2013 and 2014 were, people kept telling me when I moved, it's not usually like this. And I'm like, y'all are all liars because it's 2 years in a row we've had like feet upon feet upon feet that just didn't melt for months. And, for in later years, especially, last year before last, this year even worse. There hasn't been any. There's not. If you enjoy, a snow day, this has not been your year for this year.
No, and it seemed for us as well. I mean, we really didn't start getting winter until the end of February. It was otherwise pretty darn mild. So, okay, interesting stuff, Tanya. Hopefully, springtime. Which, by the way, I think Monday is the first day. Springtime's just around the corner. So, okay, thank you so much. Tanya G. Powers from Fox News. Richard on the storm. I guess I blew the storm prediction, but I was correct with only a few inches early in the morning. That is true. I mean, we didn't have much in the morning. But the storm became a stationary storm, which means it parked over us through the day. Very hard to predict, although we mentioned that Craig Flint, our meteorologist from WTR, really kind of nailed it. As we mentioned, some storm totals. New Hartford with about 11 inches of snow yesterday, and areas that on the outskirts that received upwards of 16 inches of snow. So pretty snowy for some. Maybe this will be the last one we have to deal with. A quick break. We'll come right back. 6:52 at WIBX.
Are you ready to make the most important decision for your child's future? Some are easy, some are not. Some make all the difference, like choosing Notre Dame schools. Offering grades pre-K through 12, your child will be ready to learn and thrive in a challenging atmosphere surrounded by great teachers and the most current technology. Notre Dame offers small class sizes, high academic standards, and spiritual fulfillment. At Notre Dame, we foster an environment of diversity and community. Students feel supported and more confident in achieving their goals. Our students learn from each other and are challenged to grow and develop their innate talents. Notre Dame is faith-based, but everyone is welcome. If you have higher expectations for your child, Notre Dame offers a higher level experience. If you're ready to launch your child's future into the most successful career path and build the next generation of leaders, call today for a tour or visit NotreDameUtica.org. Notre Dame schools ready to learn, destined to lead.
Hi, I'm Max Carbone, sales manager at Power Sports Utica. We are currently overstocked on 2023 Ski-Doo models, and we are offering up to $2,000 off sticker plus a $500 gift card for anything in the store. Kawasaki KLR models have $1,000 in rebates as well, and we have all colors and trims available in stock and ready for delivery. Kawasaki KLX models have $400 in rebate and up to $1,500 off KX models. Come visit us at Power Sports Utica, Central New York's Four Seasons toy store.
Warner Sales and Service, building relationships, building trust.
This is Lynn from Warner Sales and Service. If you are push mowing your yard, using an inefficient lawn tractor, or your current zero-turn spends more time in the shop than mowing your grass, it's time you look at a Hustler zero-turn lawnmower. Residential mowers from Hustler are built like tanks and drive like sports cars. All Hustler mowers have fabricated welded steel decks. Don't settle on cheap units with flimsy stamped decks from big box stores. Come see us at Warner Sales and Service on the Greenway New London Road in Rome, just off Route 365 between Rome and Verona, and we'll guide you to the right mower for your property and your budget. Find us at warnerss.com.
Warner's, where quality still counts.
I'm Scott Trout, attorney and CEO of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. We help men deal with the life changes triggered by divorce, such as child custody and property division, among many others. But life changes also occur after divorce. These changes can make parts of your existing court order irrelevant. If you feel a modification to your court orders might be necessary, talk to us at Cordell & Cordell. We're a partner men can count on.
Online at CordellCordell.com. 518-554-0000. 100 Great Oaks Boulevard, Suite 110, Albany, New York, 12203.
Hey, if you've been noticing a lot more Mazda vehicles driving by you on the highway, well, it's because there are more out there. It's what Ricky says, Ricky Z at Steve Ponte Mazda. The Mazda brand is red hot right now. Maybe it's time for you to be driving an award-winning Mazda. The CX-30s, CX-5, the CX-50s, all on the lot. The new 2023 Mazdas are here. And right now you can save during their Move to Mazda sales event, which is back. 0.9% APR financing up to 36 months on all new 2023 Mazdas. That includes the CX-30s, CX-5s, and the CX-50s. It's more than just a vehicle that is hot right now. It's a solid vehicle, designed beautifully, and it's dependable and great on gas. The Move to Mazda sales event is going on right now. And Rick says, come into the dealership and let us show you why we've placed first nationally in customer satisfaction. Steve Ponte Mazda, Commercial Drive in Yorkville.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Coming up next hour, you know we're getting to that point where if you're thinking about running for school board in your local community, you got to pretty much make the decision and get the signatures and all of that. The school board vote, I believe, is like May 16th. Howard Potter, local businessman in Utica, I wonder if he's thinking about running for school board. He's certainly talking about it today, and he has some issues with the current Utica school board, and we'll hear from him coming up next hour. Also, Habaika's free money question of the day. It's a chance for you to win $100 in cash plus other stuff coming up next hour. The free money question of the day. Some comments here this morning off YouTube. You, by the way, can search us on YouTube. Search Keeler live stream. You know, I tried to get it to. I was doing this yesterday. You can use a lot of these remotes now have the. I don't know if you ever use them, but they work really well. Where there's a little microphone in the remote, and you can say, "Play the Keeler show." The problem is, every time you say Keeler show, YouTube hears it as killer, and all these murder episodes come up. I could not, for the life of me, I'd say it Keeler, and it still wouldn't get it. It came up Keeler, as in murder. Couldn't get it to work. Anyway, you can go to YouTube and search Keeler live stream. You kind of have to type it in. But once you subscribe, it keeps popping up in your inbox, and you'll be able to see it. Also, you can download our app, which is absolutely free. Absolutely free. Search WIBX 950 in the App Store or Google Play. Off the YouTube feed this morning, some guy in the 540 says, no such thing as companies paying salary based on gender. It's all about negotiating and when you get hired and how the market is at the time and how much you need someone at the time. And right now, people are in a great need of employees. They're paying more than they ever have. Some guy in the 540 says if everyone got paid the same to do the same job, that would mean even after 20 years at your job, the 16-year-old in the company just hired would make the same as you, and that's not going to happen. All right, I'm not so sure he is correct, but now there are activists out there that will say he is not correct. And Michael this morning says Sebastian Torres is leaving Syracuse. Did you see that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What does he play? What position?
I don't know. He was the one that transferred in from Marquette 2 years ago.
Right.
Local product.
But right now, that tall guy out of Brooklyn is still coming, who's young and very, very tall.
It'd be interesting to see what Gerard and Edwards do. They
Yeah,
have one
you're
more
absolutely
year.
right. Listen, we have Fox News straight ahead. Hold tight. Coming right back. WIBX Utica, Rome. It's 7 o'clock.
Back off. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. The Russian government's telling the U.S. to stay away from its airspace. The Pentagon says an American reconnaissance drone was in international airspace on a routine mission, crashed intentionally out of control after a Russian military jet collided with it over the Black Sea south of Japan.
Russia insists there was no contact, and the drone was deliberately and provocatively heading for Russia. The international community now weighing up how serious this issue could be. UK Defence Secretary Ben Wallace calling for calm.
The key here is all parties respect international airspace. We urge the Russians to do so.
Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
That drone went down south of Ukraine. There's a hearing about abortion pills in a federal court in Amarillo, Texas today. An anti-abortion group is suing, trying to have one of the two drugs used in medical abortions banned, arguing its approval 23 years ago was rushed. President Biden gives a speech in Las Vegas today about lowering prescription drug costs, focusing yesterday on gun violence.
In a new executive order, President Biden says supporting victims' families impacted by gun violence should be a priority.
For example, we need to provide more mental health support and grief and trauma.
The president discussed the order during a visit to Monterey Park, the site of a California mass shooting that left 11 dead and 9 more injured. It orders government agencies to issue a proposal for how to provide assistance to communities impacted by gun violence. It also tells those agencies to use whatever tools necessary to enhance background checks and raise awareness for red flag laws. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
A coalition of environmental groups are suing the Biden administration over the approval of the Willow oil project in Alaska. They argue the decision violates 4 environmental laws. The oil company ConocoPhillips says the project's been through 5 years of rigorous federal environmental and regulatory review. The Bureau of Land Management approved a smaller project than the company requested. America's listening to Fox News.
Paid for by government.com.
The 1878 to 1921 Morgan silver dollar, a true American classic and one of the most iconic silver dollar coins in history. It's been 100 years since the last Morgan silver dollar coin was struck for circulation. And now, for a limited time only, full pound bags of original U.S. government struck Morgan dollars are being released to the public. That's right, you can own a full pound of 1878 to 1921 classic American Morgan silver dollar coins, all in very good collector condition with fully visible dates and mint marks, guaranteed. Call 1-800-509-6468 now to secure collector-grade U.S. Morgan silver dollars by the pound, struck during the Wild West and the Gilded Age. Plus, receive a bonus American Collector's Pack, valued at over $25, free with every order. Call 1-800-509-6468 now to secure your full pound bag of Morgan silver dollar coins before they are gone. 1-800-509-6468. That's 1-800-509-6468.
A Nebraska state senator, Democrat Michaela Cavanaugh, is now 3 weeks into a filibuster, offering up amendment after amendment to every bill coming to the floor, taking up all 8 hours of debate, blocking their passage to stall a bill to ban transgender-related medical care for anyone 18 and younger. She says that's legalizing hate and protecting those kids she wants to do. The bill's sponsor says she's trying to protect kids who might later regret that medical intervention. Governor of Virginia says he's not done pushing changes to school rules in his state after a legislative session in which Democrats blocked several bills.
Several bills failed to move through Virginia's legislature. One would have required students to compete on sports teams according to the gender they were born with. Another would have created education savings accounts, allowing for school choice. Governor Glenn Youngkin told the Fox News Rundown podcast there's still a lot to do, especially when it comes to COVID-related learning loss.
We launched this week $30 million of micro grants that are available to Virginia families, specifically customized to their children. And so we went to work right away with free tutoring partnerships with the Khan Academy.
Youngkin did get some reforms through, especially with executive orders, including one focused on eliminating so-called critical race theory or divisive concepts in the classroom. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
A new medicine to treat migraines is coming.
This is House Call for Health. Relief in sight for migraine sufferers after the FDA approved a new nasal spray. The agency giving the green light late last week to Pfizer's drug Zafspret for the treatment of acute migraine with or without aura in adults. Aura refers to any neurological disturbance that appears just before or during the start of migraines. The new fast-acting medicine offers quick relief from the crippling pain caused by migraine headaches. The Migraine Research Foundation says migraines affect 39 million people in the United States. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
Stock futures are way down ahead of the opening bell on Wall Street. And I'm Chris Foster. Fox News.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, lingering light snow showers and flurries taper. Windy and chilly as clouds decrease, turning mainly sunny by late, a high 35. Tonight, mainly clear to partly cloudy, near 20. And tomorrow, partly cloudy with increasing clouds throughout the day, turning breezy and not as cold. By afternoon, a high of 43. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Hello, Don Hartman from the Potting Shed Antiques. Nancy and I want to invite the community to shop the Potting Shed Antiques throughout the madness of March and save 40% off your entire purchases. Shop over 3,000 square feet and take 40% off furniture, antiques, jewelry, finished glass, china, art, clocks, lighting, and so much more. Excludes coins and gold jewelry. Save all month long at the Potting Shed Antiques or visit us online anytime at thepottingshedantiques.com.
I can't take this kitchen any longer. Carl, we need to start looking for a new house.
Honey, you know the housing market is tight. It's going to be next to impossible to find something that we like.
I know, but this kitchen has to go.
Hey, what about a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank? We can turn the equity from our home into cash to renovate, just the way you want.
Renovate?
Adirondack Bank has competitive rates, and they've been a trusted community bank for decades.
A new kitchen. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
Then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the deck, even add a pool, and take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about.
Whoa, slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank about that home equity loan. Then we can decide where to start.
I've always wanted to add on a craft room, and our bathroom needs a facelift.
Don't move. Improve. Stop into your local Adirondack Bank branch for more information on a home equity loan or visit AdirondackBank.com. Bank local with Adirondack Bank, your hometown community bank. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Which room is next for you? The bedroom? Your kitchen? The living room? Hi, this is Kira Meelan from Meelan's Carpet One. What's holding back that next home project? Is it budget? We have flooring choices for any budget and financing options available. Maybe it's inspiration. If so, come and talk to our experienced design team. We're here to help you get unstuck. Maybe you're putting off redoing a room because you're worried about spills and accidents. Whether it's a pet in training or a growing family, we have flooring solutions that can withstand anything life has to throw at it. We have incredibly durable tile options and 100% water-resistant carpeting that's both beautiful and practical. We have options that inspire, designers who will help bring it all together, and always a beautiful installation. To get the perfect flooring, start with the right flooring store. Visit Meelan's Carpet One on Commercial Drive East in Yorkville.
Hi, I'm Joe Carbone. Welcome to Harley-Davidson of Utica. Get a jump on your riding season with over 120 Harley-Davidson motorcycles to choose from. Harley-Davidson Motor Company 120th anniversary celebration is March 25th. Stop in for food, beverages, music, and lots of Harley-Davidson giveaways. Register to win a 2023 Breakout and a free trip to Milwaukee for the anniversary blowout. So come to Harley-Davidson of Utica March 25th for our great event.
I studied Spanish in college and never got fluent, but then I tried Babbel.
Want the most effective way to learn another language? In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel's bite-sized lessons will have you learning another language in as little as 3 weeks.
Babbel gets you speaking quickly about things you actually talk about in the real world.
University studies have shown that using Babbel for 15 hours is equivalent to a semester of college Spanish. If you want to learn a new language, there's no better way than Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try Babbel for free. That's BABBEL.com.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, Wednesday morning, and we have some school delays that I'm going to throw out there to you here this morning. These are all on a 2-hour delay. Cooperstown, Edmiston, Hamilton, Madison Central School on a 2-hour delay. Morrisville, Eden, Owen D. Young, Richfield Springs. If you notice, these are all to the south. And Waterville is on a 2-hour delay here this morning. Tim Reed is in studio here this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Keeler.
Some just don't ever get it right. And we were just talking with you about you were driving. You had a long drive.
Yes.
How many hours you were driving?
12 hours.
12 hours. So.
And I'm not young anymore.
Do you do the? You said you got to the point where towards the end it just became, the eyes are. You're working to keep your eyes open.
Glassing over.
Yeah. Do you ever do the 5-hour?
Energy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that before, and I figured out the only reason it works is that my stomach's upset for 5 hours.
Yeah. So
I've tried it.
Yeah.
That stuff's awful.
I like it. There's the green apple and the grape that are pretty tasty, and it does seem to work for me. Whereas sometimes I'll do like an espresso, and I get the stomach.
eight shots of espresso. You drink.
The Octi, which is 8 shots of espresso. But I kind of find that that 5-hour stuff does work. So, but at the same time, my wife and daughter are like, "That's bad for you. You shouldn't be taking that."
Mm-hmm.
No, what's bad for you is driving off the road.
Exactly.
That's what's bad for you.
It's not really the drive. It's the sudden stop when you crash
into
something.
Right. It's that hard, immediate stop. So hang in here, and we're going to be talking with a physician coming up about a very serious topic coming up in a little bit. Howard Potter is a local businessman and is in studio here this morning. You've had your eye on the Utica School Board for quite some time.
Yes, sir.
Are you running? Do you think you're going to run?
I've picked up the packet. My heart wants to, but my brain and logic that says, hey, you're spending $5,000 and 20-plus hours away from your family per week. Not everything is like the dust hasn't settled with absentee ballots and how that should be reined in and fixed. So I just can't commit.
How is that? What is wrong with it? What is your complaint today?
Well, basically, I mean, when they were opening ballots last year to begin with illegally at 1 and 3 p.m. at multiple polling sites.
So, but you reported that, right?
Yes, but there was still a lot of stuff that got opened that none of us could verify if they were legit votes or not.
I understand, but you reported it. What was done? It was corrected though.
Yes. Well, I reported it to the clerk. The clerk didn't do anything. Mr. Habaika happened to be walking into Proctor, and I had noticed him after I didn't want to bother him while I was voting, so I stopped him and said, "Hey, as far as I know, this isn't legal." And he goes, "What are you talking about?" And I explained it to him, so he got on the phone and called over.
And it's funny because I spoke to Joe about that, and he said, Howard reported it, and he said, I immediately went in and said, "What are you doing?
Yeah, no,
you cannot open these."
Yep.
So that issue was corrected.
Yes, I wonder the training. There's not very thorough training of the people that are running these polling sites. You go to Proctor, there's cameras all around when you're voting, things like that. Like there's a lot of little discrepancies that happen, or multiple teachers contacted me saying, "Hey, I can't post your sign in my yard. I had to take it down because my job was on the line." Comments like that being made. Substitute teachers no longer being substitute teachers that were retired faculty because they were voting for me.
But don't those issues are really Bruce Karam issues, right?
As far as I know, but from what I was told was it wasn't coming directly from Bruce. It was coming from their administration, which I would assume if we want to put that out there. But I don't know 100%, but I would think that would be the case. But there's just a lot of things like that have to be cleared up.
I should say that's what's being alleged
yes.
against Bruce Karam.
Yes.
So what do you want? So it's gone from these things are happening to now you don't know if they're happening?
That's exactly it. And the biggest.
But how would you know? How do you solve that problem?
Well, even before that, right? Like I've emailed the board, I've public spoke to the old board and existing board about these concerns, and there's silence. There's you got to wait for the next meeting and hope something's brought up, or you only hear a percentage. Like they hired someone to manage the election, which is great, but they're part-time. You can't manage an election part-time and not know what the exact duties of that official are, overall in that election, because in the past the board clerk was the one managing.
But you wouldn't hire somebody full-time for that position because...
What I mean, it's part-time. It's part-time even during the election. It's like 3 days a week.
Okay.
So, but the election's going on full time during a certain 2.5 month, 3 month period.
Okay. So you're not pleased with their solution.
Well, I think they're making strides.
And how do you know that you can't do it on? And I don't know if it's part time or not. But how do you know it can or can't be done based on that time period?
Well, here's the thing: like you take something like you're dropping off signatures. Who's inspecting those signatures? Do you know all the signatures were actually thoroughly checked? You need that.
Isn't
manager there.
I could be wrong, but isn't that done by the Board of Elections?
No,
that's done by the school district.
As far as the way it was explained to me from last year when I ran, they were the ones inspecting them by going through the list from the Board of Election.
Okay. All right.
So
do you think you were unfairly not elected?
I think basically in a nutshell,
your margin was pretty big.
Yeah, and
I think it's absolutely clear that at least the board at that point and the administration at that point made it very clear that they didn't necessarily like you.
Yeah, I mean,
right? I mean,
that's clear as day. I mean, at first, I came on air a few times and I said, well, I don't think that's the case. But the more and more things went on with the letters I would get, the legal letters, don't do this, don't, you got to, approve things to donate. Just all the backlash back and forth, stopping doing business with us, just for speaking up the truth, not trying to spread rumors or falsehoods.
And they weren't following through on your foils and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But has nothing changed for you?
So what was interesting is when the newer board was elected, when you'd go and public speak, I was very happy with that because the simple fact is you'd public speak, the board acknowledged that you're there, but then you would receive a letter in the mail within 2 weeks saying, hey, we know you public spoke, we're looking into your concerns, and then within a week or two after that, you would receive a phone call from someone that runs daily operations as to address your concerns, what's possible, what's not.
Yeah.
That part has stopped.
Okay.
And so for me, if I've put that much money on the line, that much time, and I have skin in the game, I would expect at least a follow-up from someone that runs the election to say, hey, this is exactly what's going on, this is what we're working on, what other ideas or concerns you have, because I actually lived it. I'm not just looking from the outside. I actually was there.
So the question, though, is do you feel your election was unfair?
Yes.
You do? So you think you really won?
I don't know if I actually won, but I think I did better than what the numbers showed.
Okay.
Most people that run the first time don't typically get even near 1,000 votes.
Right.
So.
And do you feel that whatever... So if that's the case, then something nefarious was going on?
Well, yeah. I mean, think about it. If I have multiple people that are worried about putting my sign up, how many less views did I get for towards someone gaining their vote, saying, oh well so and so's got that in their yard, they've got to be a good candidate, because let's face it, everybody looks at the next person that does more research and says, hey, who would you vote for if they don't have time?
But I have to say though that the only thing I would challenge here is that ultimately the people who were opposing that current administration ended up winning. I mean, you weren't one of them, but people who were not in, let's say that all of this is true, that Bruce Karam handpicked people that he wanted to get on the board. Let's say that was true. But those people didn't end up winning.
Yeah, the crazy part is, though, if we go by the illegal standard of what they did with Bob Cardillo making phone calls to Jack LaMedico and Testa to say, hey, would you take this position out of board meeting minutes? Then I would have landed the position where Testa's at, because I would have had a better chance of beating Testa or Jack.
Okay. Let's see. I have somebody saying, this is someone in the know, school districts running elections has nothing to do with the Board of Elections. There is specific training provided at the state level by state organizations about school elections. for district clerks, et cetera, but it has nothing to do with the school board. This is what I'm being told.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Then how do you blame the school board on this?
Well, the school board oversees the clerk. First of all, they hire the clerk. They oversee the people that work for the clerk. The clerk, the day of the election, refused to get more ballots when they ran out. I don't even know how you run out of ballots to begin with when less than 3,000 people vote. So they manage the board clerk, which then manages the election.
Okay. All right. So what do you want to see done?
There's a multitude. I want better training for each.
And by the way, though, do you have any proof that that things are being done improperly?
Yeah, I mean,
hold on.
Yeah.
Any proof that things are being done improperly this year?
As of this year, no.
Okay.
Because the only thing is,
but it is very hard to say. Well, I don't have any proof, but I think it could be.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's kind of you kind of have to have the inappropriate thing, and then you can report that.
Yes.
And I would say that you would report that to the state. You could report some wrongdoing, but you don't have any evidence of that going on for this year.
Well, the issue is when you have someone that did run that has legit concerns of what did happen, where there wasn't proper signage at every polling site. People were being given wrong information of how many people to vote for when they've never voted before. I do have proof of that because one of my staff actually went down to vote for the first time.
But you have a new superintendent in control right now.
Yes.
And you have a new board. And I think at some point, wouldn't you trust that they're going to want to see things done by the book?
Well, yes, but
especially with all of the scrutiny that we're told is going on, like there have been investigations, et cetera, I would think at some point, I mean, it's not like they're going to be able to say, okay, here's a concerned citizen, we're going to let you come in and oversee everything.
Oh yeah, no, that's not
right?
what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is, like, even in business, right? You still have to respond to the customer. In this case, I'm the customer. And
what do you want them to respond to you? What are you looking for?
Basically, have dialogue going back and forth, saying that, okay, these are either they are or are not legit concerns. We are or are not looking into these. Because here's the thing, you're asking someone to put thousands of dollars back on the line after they witnessed what went wrong in the last election.
Right.
And there's no proof that anything has actually been fully fixed on all those different topics. So have we put things in parameter?
But there is a process that has to be followed. Yes. Don't you feel that this board is following that process? You don't think they are?
I don't think.
I mean, of all things, I mean, and Hobika, obviously he does stuff for this program, but Joe is a stickler. I'm just going to say he is a stickler for process to the point where. Let me finish. To the point where, and I know Joe. To the point where it's annoying. It is. Everything has to be done by the book. You feel that, and you feel he would allow inappropriate things to be done without, like, even the one bit of evidence that you have is you reported to him that ballots were being improperly opened, and you have admitted here that he immediately went to the problem and stopped it. You think that he would allow this to go on?
I don't think it would be intentional by any means, but I would also think that there wouldn't be an issue with having a conversation with someone that's a member of the public that has been so heavily involved that actually, again, put the time and money and resources into running a fair. Listen, I don't care if I lost by 1 vote or 1,000. If that was my vote to receive, then I earned it. Then it should be counted. It should be, the integrity of the election is what I'm.
But
trying
you don't
to
have
protect.
any evidence that your votes were thrown away or any of that. There's no evidence of that happening.
Well, no,
last
it's
year.
physically impossible to prove because they were opening them at different times. You couldn't have the poll watchers didn't even know that.
In that one particular case that happened.
Yes.
That you know of.
Yes.
And it was ultimately stopped.
Yes, and it was happening at multiple sites. That was the problem.
But you don't know that it happened at multiple sites.
Yes, we do. We had
you
about
do know?
Yes, we had about, I think it was between 12 and 14 poll watchers at minimum, and it was happening on multiple sites and no one control. I mean, to the point where I went to one site and I had someone that was managing the site yell at me because I simply asked within 45 minutes why one of the ballot machines was down, and the votes were sitting out in the open off to the side. And they started yelling at me, well, who are you? And I'm like, well, I'm actually on the ballot. Those votes are sitting out in the open. Someone could do something with them. Someone could see who's the vote, and they were up in arms over it.
Okay. So you're not confident that Hobica, that the current board, that the new administrator, you're not confident that because in order to do what you're saying, someone has to be doing something illegal, and you're not confident that they're not. I'm trying to figure this out. You're not confident that they are not doing something illegal.
Well, it's not that I'm saying the board is trying to do something illegal.
Or even the poll workers.
I would. It's more or less making sure it's thorough and the integrity is intact with every step of the process, because we're talking about $219 million of a school education on the line for our children.
And your complaint is that no one has talked to you to explain to you, here's what we're doing to make things.
They would do it with any other issue. Why would this be any different?
Okay, all right.
Concern.
Any other concerns that you have, and you might be running, but you might not. You're not sure.
Yeah, I'm still up in the arms about that. My big concern is, you look at a process, right? You had them vote in Testa illegally, the old board. I would have liked to see the new board remove Testa on the grounds where a board member, Bob Cardillo, had illegally represented the board without permission to get someone in that seat. And then going back to our old topic of Mr. Cardillo, when it goes into the whole concern.
I'm confused about what Cardillo did that was illegal and how Testa was elected illegally.
So basically, he acted as the board by calling them, I think either that night or the next day, that he said during the meeting, to ask them if either one of them would take the open seat when Anthony LaPolo stepped down.
Okay.
So, and he acted as the board. That's a violation of...
All right. Good luck with that. You're not going to get
anywhere
with that.
I know.
Okay, I understand you're complaining about that, but good luck with that one.
I guess I had a comment and question. Yeah. My comment is, it's remarkable to me that, voting standards, I would think, whether they're federal, state, local, school, should be relatively the same. We treat the things the same way with the same sacred nature. And it's kind of remarkable to me that we come up with this offset for school elections as opposed to everything else, and we kind of remove it from whom I would consider the professionals to do all those sorts of things in regards to it, which lays these possibilities out there. And I'm sure there's a million state laws as to why it is or whatever it is, but you're talking about a school board budget that dwarfs anything that the city of Utica has by a lot. I mean, people don't realize that. And then I guess my question is, how many positions are opening up for the next school board, and who are they? I guess
you have 2 seats open, Mr. Habica's and Mr. Lapola's seat. So Testa took over Mr. Lapola's. Going back to the absentee ballot, the other thing that I had noticed is when we're checking absentee ballots, we're not confirming whether they live in our city or if their signature matches what we have on file. In the book, like if you go and vote, you got to mark yourself in the book. None of that's being done with those absentee ballots that I physically seen at the polling location that I was at. So that's another concern I have that I'm not getting answers to.
But that comes afterwards, if I'm correct, though, that would, so you sign, they look at the signature, but it's that happens afterwards where you could then call into question a certain signature when they're gone, when they go over them. After that happens, there's a process in place in any election where that occurs. That isn't done in public on the at the polling site.
Well, that's the thing that I'm saying is it's.
Yes, they check the signature and it matches, but then beyond that, there's a process in place where a particular ballot could be contested.
Yes, that is true, but you have to catch them. So what I'm saying is when they're receiving them, if I'm running the board election, if I'm receiving them, my staff are receiving them, no one's actually checking the book to confirm this person does still live in the city of Utica and matching it up.
Okay.
Because when you're manually going in, you're doing it with them. They're not physically doing it on the backside when it's an absentee ballot.
And aren't they using the Board of Elections to where the information comes from? That's where,
as far as I'm aware, yes,
it comes from the Board of Elections.
I've been told, yes.
Okay. Anything else that you have, Tim? How many? So you say 2 seats are open?
Yes, sir.
Hobica's and the Testa seat, which was LaPola's seat.
Yep.
So as far as Joe going off, who's the president of the board, how does the board vote for that, or is it the vice president, or how does that because you're gonna have a big leadership change there?
Yes, and don't get me wrong. I think Joe's done a lot in a short period of time with the newer board members. Like I said, my biggest concern is
I have to say that you have an investigation going on right now. You have an audit that has occurred from the state. You have the current superintendent on paid administrative leave. You have an acting superintendent in. I'd say there's an awful hell of a lot going on right now.
Oh yeah, and that's my biggest thing is like I'm not trying to scrutinize.
In fact, I would say I wouldn't want any more. No more.
Yeah, exactly.
This is abnormal for a school district. I would think,
especially this size budget and everything to this much to be exposed. So what I'm basically getting at,
but there are bigger budgets in New York State.
Oh yes,
bigger budgets on school boards and in municipalities. Much bigger budgets that don't have any of the problems that we've been dealing with here. This is unprecedented.
Yeah.
But my thoughts would be. And I'm just throwing this out there. We've heard rumors that the DA's office is investigating.
Okay.
That the FBI is. You've heard this. You've told me that the FBI is investigating. And is there any? The comptroller's office is investigating. My question is. At some point, Howard, don't you kind of have to step back and say, seems like there's a lot of scrutiny. I would say if I'm someone who has regularly been cheating on a school board election, I wouldn't try to do it this year.
Yeah, no, and my thing is,
right?
Here's my thing, right?
Because there's a lot that's
I agree with you.
Reportedly going on.
I agree 150%.
If all of that stuff is true,
that's exactly.
And you
it.
believe it is true.
Yes. And
you told me
yes.
These investigations are real.
Oh yes.
All right.
I mean, in the sense of we know things are going on, we know people are looking at things. But when I've been contacted by the comptroller's office, and the last audit they did was back in 2018-19 with that report, and supposedly they told me on the phone a few weeks ago that they haven't done one since. Now going back to our board, I think overall our board is doing a great job. That's why I wanted to question the integrity of making sure nothing was going to happen again. So if I ran, I could be an addition to that board to help support them, help be another backbone to getting things done.
Yeah. I think at this point, again, going back to my point, that if there was ever a time for someone to cheat, this wouldn't be the year
time,
to do it. I would say my guess is you would be fairly safe, and which you should watch and keep an eye and ask questions. Yeah. There's no doubt. Rick says the cover of the absentee ballot has the address and signature of the person voting.
That is true.
That is what is verified before the ballot is open. Verification can occur anytime before the ballot is open. You wouldn't want to do that afterwards.
So he is correct.
Right.
But the funny part is, James Paul, one of his poll watchers, actually caught multiple signatures that weren't caught by the people running the election, working the election. It was caught by the poll watcher. So that's not a fail. Yes, he is correct. That should be caught, but it's not. And that's how extra ballots are getting slipped in. They found multiple people that had different addresses, or Lula Pola and his son had the same exact handwriting on both ballots for both of them.
Yeah.
So are people filling out ballots for other ones? You can't.
Right. Well, but again, the only thing I would say to you is you basically had two sides that were running. Mm-hmm. There was the
You're absolutely correct.
The Habaika side and the Bruce Karam side, and the Habaika side won.
Yeah.
So if there was an effort,
well, the big thing is
unless the Habaika side was cheating,
you got to remember there was one or two people that were running that had a full team. Like I was literally running by myself.
But that's not illegal.
No. I'm not contesting that. But they also knew the odds. They knew the stats. They had the support system. This is my first time running, so
Understood.
I'm not. Listen, I lost. I lost. It's fine.
You are now more experienced.
Yes,
so
that's exactly. It's like in business. You don't know what you don't know.
Right.
But what they had a great advantage on, which was smart, by all means, they knew they needed to clear an extra 500 to 700 votes over the top of 1,000, 1,100 in order to be able to swing any potential misleading of ballots. So
that's just basic strategy.
Exactly.
Right.
But again, I didn't know that at the time. So that's why now I do know. Now I also do know there was.
You may have a better advantage. You may have an advantage this time over
that's
somebody
why I
else.
just want to make sure these things were cleared up and cleaned up, so that way I had a more clear, shot at having a chance.
I'd say, Howard, listening to all these allegations in regards to whatever it is, yes, indeed, if there ever was cheating or whatever, they may want to back off. The other thing I would say is, this may be the year I wouldn't want to run.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah, you want to be a firefighter, just walk right in.
You sure you want to be a part of this?
Blaze.
Wow. And you have a business to run, for God's sakes, right?
Well, and that's the other thing that I that I'm weighing in balance too, is because we do have a massive growth again. Last year we grew by 34%. We're already up 30% this year.
Your personal business.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the crazy part is we're already projecting in 3 years we got to make the new building we put up another 6,000 square foot larger. So there's a lot on the plate. So that's why I want to make sure that
All
I
right.
do.
So
the right
when
thing.
will you decide if you're going to be running?
Probably over the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay. Well,
because it doesn't take that long to really. You can get 100 signatures within a couple of days.
Is the requirement 100?
Yes.
So you'd want. So here's the tip.
Yeah. You remember I went through this.
You want 200.
Yeah.
Or at least 150 because those signatures might be challenged, and you want to make sure you have enough to cover.
I think 15 to 20% of mine were challenged.
Okay. All right. All right. Anything else you want to cover?
No,
I know that you asked for Cardillo to step down. That's not going to happen, or the board to remove him. There's a major process that has to be done in order for that to happen. And
I would even if he wasn't removed or didn't remove himself, at least just don't vote on the things that have to do with Karen, because it is a huge conflict of interest. It's just the right thing to do.
Yeah. However, I feel like the voters are going to have a chance to decide on that.
Yes.
Not necessarily on the school board, but Bob is running for mayor, and the voters will have that decision.
I mean, and here's the thing: I really don't wish any ill will towards Bob or anything. It's just, if you want to run our city, then what you did in the school board, where you never questioned certain pay increases to admin and other people, now all of a sudden you're starting to question them because there's a different change. That's what's seen. That's perception that's thrown out there.
Yeah.
And then how you react to comments or snickering by the crowd, and how you react to them and talk at them or put them down, that's not good leadership. If you can't handle that, how are you going to handle being a mayor? And, I mean, let's face it, every mayor and any politician deals with criticism.
Sure.
So that's my concern.
Wouldn't you say, though, that is more of a mayoral issue than it is a school board issue at this point?
Yes, you're absolutely correct.
Because he's not up for re-election.
Yes.
So.
And I think next year he's up for re-election for the school board.
And what happens this year probably will become a part
domino
of
effect. Yes.
if he chooses to run for re-election.
Yeah, I wish him all the best. I hope he does well, but those are my concerns.
Okay, Howard Potter, thank you.
Likewise.
Davey, let's do our free money question. Who just, by the way, we're giving away Hobica's money. So if there's anything I can do to annoy Hobica more for you, it's give away his money.
A little bit more.
Okay, so we're going to try to do that. Davey, you're going with caller number what this morning?
3.
Caller 3. Third caller through the lines, your chance to win $100 in cash plus some other stuff. And a big smile from Howard if you win, because we're giving away Hobica's money. Third caller right now, 315-736-0186. Stand by. We'll come right back with that. 738 at WIBX.
Hi, this is Frank with Northland Trailers, located on River Road in Marcy. At Northland, we offer a full line of utility, snowmobile, enclosed, dump, and equipment trailers. We can also custom design a trailer to meet your specific needs. In addition to trailers, we have a full parts showroom, and we service what we sell. Our family business is proud to have been serving our community for over 4 decades. Northland Trailers is located right outside the city of Utica. So swing on down and let's talk towing.
More and more people are turning to Wheelock Disposal for their trash pickup and recyclables. Let's hear from their happy customers why they love Wheelock Disposal service. Here's Mike in Whitesboro.
So why am I a customer of Wheelock Disposal? We've been a customer for approximately 12 years. They pick up our garbage on time. The cans are always put back up right. Any garbage that has fallen out, they pick up. I drive for a living, so I'm in a lot of different neighborhoods, and I see their trucks doing the same thing. Their drivers are professional drivers and do a great job, and that's why we love Wheelock Disposal.
And now, let's hear from Dick in New Hartford.
Hi, I'm Dick Timpano. Why do I love Wheelock Disposal? Because it's easy to bring my garbage to the curb. Their friendliness, their cleanliness, and the responsibility they have to pick up my trash on time is incredible. That's why I love Wheelock Disposal.
Wheelock Disposal Service has a special introductory offer for all new customers. Check out wheelockdisposal.com. We love garbage.
Menthol is not just a flavor. It's a manipulative way for big tobacco to target, attract, and addict Black Americans. Tobacco companies aggressively market menthol products using elements of Black culture, putting more products on shelves in Black communities and making them cheaper. And it's not just an injustice, it's killing us. Smoking-related illnesses are the #1 cause of death in the African American community. Help us fight this injustice at notjustmenthol.org.
Every day at NBT Bank, we focus our business around all the ways we can help yours. We're large enough to offer leading business and digital solutions, but local enough to ensure personalized one-on-one service. So turn to NBT Bank for a full range of business solutions, like capital and treasury management services, even fraud protection, and see how NBT Bank is just the right size to help you do big things. Visit nbtbank.com to learn more and start a conversation. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalized this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Are you ready to make the most important decision for your child's future? Some are easy, some are not. Some make all the difference, like choosing Notre Dame schools. Offering grades pre-K through 12, your child will be ready to learn and thrive in a challenging atmosphere surrounded by great teachers and the most current technology. Notre Dame offers small class sizes, high academic standards, and spiritual fulfillment. At Notre Dame, we foster an environment of diversity and community. Students feel supported and more confident in achieving their goals. Our students learn from each other and are challenged to grow and develop their innate talents. Notre Dame is faith-based, but everyone is welcome. If you have higher expectations for your child, Notre Dame offers a higher level experience. If you're ready to launch your child's future into the most successful career path and build the next generation of leaders, call today for a tour or visit NotreDameUtica.org. Notre Dame schools ready to learn, destined to lead.
Hi, Jan from Toyota speaking.
Jan, I heard it's a good time to buy a Toyota.
Sure is. From now until April 4th, you can shop all your favorites like Corolla, RAV4, Sequoia, and more. Imagine yourself in a new Tundra where
you stopped by the home improvement store and finally built that tree house you promised your daughter.
Sarah? When did you hop on the call?
Hi, Dad. Mom said you were taking too long on the phone.
Toyota, let's go places. See your participating Toyota dealer for details. Dealer inventory may vary.
You wash your hands, you brush your teeth, but how do you clean your nose? With Navage. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, flushing out allergens, mucus, and germs. And it's why cleaning your nose, the body's air filter, is the next evolution in daily personal hygiene. Navage helps you breathe better, sleep deeper, and snore less, but the biggest payoff is improved health. At Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
WIBX 950 and 1069 FM. This is Keeler.
Alrighty now. Hey, let's, Tim Reed is in studio here this morning. Appreciate you coming in. I know you came in this morning early because you heard me and Davey yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're like, oh my Lord, they need some help.
I was thinking, what's the movie, Dumb and Dumber? No.
Yeah, you're probably right.
No.
Yeah.
Good man.
Good man.
Davey's Davey's the guy. He's always behind here, ready to go.
I'm telling you, without Davey, where would we be?
I don't know.
Right, Davey? Right?
Right. Someplace special.
All right, Bob is in Deerfield. Hello, Bob. Good morning.
Hi, Bill. How are you?
Good. You ready to take a shot at our free money question of the day?
I hope that Mr. Potty is still smiling.
Okay, he is. I think he left. He's still smiling.
All right.
I believe he is. All right, Robert, here we go. Here's your question. You'll have 7 seconds to answer. You know the deal. Here we go. American Rick Rojas won the first ever Blink. It's an event in 1978. What is the event? Ready, go.
I think it was road racing.
Okay, but we need the name of it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I don't know that.
You don't know. All right, tick, tick, tick. It's not running, Davey. I don't know why. Oh, there it goes. You have extra time. Come up with the name of a road race.
The Boilermaker.
Yeah. A little late. We gave you, actually, Bob, we gave you about 25 seconds for that one today. Tim Reed, the answer is...
The Boilermaker Road Race.
The Boilermaker Road Race. You were
I
almost...
said it, but I said it too late.
You did, Bob. Well, listen, you need to laugh. We're going to give you a table for 6. Bring all your friends this weekend at Fat Cats Comedy Club. Davey's going to take care of you on that. Go to fatcatscomedyclub.com for details. Mike Harrison, I believe, is a comedian this weekend. He'll be in studio Friday morning. Hilarious guy. He's done movies. He's really a phenomenal comic, and we'll get to have him in studio on Friday morning. Pretty excited about that. Also, Bob, we're going to give you the Utica All-in-One Food and Fun card. It's a $25 gift card, and you can use it at Aquavino, which is now newly opened in New Hartford, Babe's 72 Tavern and Grill, the Tailor and the Cook, or any, Bob, of the concession stands at the Adirondack Bank Center or Utica University Nexus Center. All right?
Okay, thank you very much.
Right, you stand by, because here, Davey's going to take care of you. Tim, here, you win for losing.
Absolutely. You know, I feel bad for Bob, though. You said Bob can bring all of his friends in a table of 6. What, you think he only has 5 friends?
All right, Davey,
what the heck?
If he needs more than that, you take care of him. They'll give him a table for 10. I mean, the truth is, Tim, you really only have enough friends to count on one hand. You have friends, but then friends that you could trust your life with.
Yeah, the difference between a friend and a best friend. Have you ever heard this one in regards to it? So a friend comes to bail you out of jail. A best friend is in the cell next to you and says, "What a night."
I like that. All right, talk about Dr. Welkons, if you would.
So I visited Dr. Welkons this week for my PSA exam. He's a urologist with A&P. And interestingly, this week, a study came out in regards to talking about prostate exam studies in regards to it. And I think, in my own opinion, it's somewhat controversial in regards to, and the doctor certainly can speak to it more than I can, basically saying, be vigilant in regards to it, rather than necessarily going in for either radiation or an operation in regards to removal of prostate. We had a long conversation about it in regards to it, and I think it certainly is worthy of note in regards.
Some are saying,
just leave it,
leave it alone.
Just watch, and
you're going to live a normal life.
happens.
But there are people who are dying of prostate cancer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It still is a major killer.
Dr. Dan Welkons is on the line right now. Doc, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Bill. Good morning, Tim. How are you?
So what do you, and by the way, Tim and I have started Real Men Get Tested for cancer, and it's a group that we take no salaries. We simply spread the word that it's important to get out there and get tested. But some will say, Doc, some will say, you don't want to know. Do you buy that concept when it comes to prostate cancer?
You know, Bill, it's challenging because there was a period of time where an organization called the United States Preventive Task Force came out and said, maybe you're better off just not doing testing at all and just seeing what happens, because maybe there's no difference in what's going to happen to you if you pursue treatment versus just sort of watch and see. Now, the same group also said there shouldn't be mammograms, and that was reversed.
Right.
And then down the line, they also reversed this other recommendation, which was not to do PSA screening. So I think that it's a challenging topic because it's not the same for everybody. You know, different cancers have different levels of aggressiveness. There's different complicating factors to consider. And so I think that the recommendations that they currently have are the most appropriate, which is you really have to talk about it with your doctor. You have to discuss the pros and the cons of pursuing treatment versus observing, and just sort of have a really open and frank discussion about what the risks and benefits of each option are.
You know, I like to say, what would they do for the president? Because, you know, just the thought of cancer, and all of a sudden they're in doing exams and tests, and they immediately act on it. And the same thing held true for mammograms. I think when they were telling people, well, you don't need to have them done so often, I don't know. I almost feel like it would be better to have it done. The more often you have it done, whether it be maybe every year, every other year, or whatever they call for, you catch it early. Isn't that better?
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, you know, one of the complicating factors is that the treatments for prostate cancer in particular, which is what I sort of specialize in, can have significant side effects. So that's the issue, is that, you know, trying to figure out what cancers you need to do something about, which do you don't, because there are some for prostate cancer that you don't necessarily need to act aggressively.
Yeah.
But I don't think that means this particular article, which was in the United Kingdom that Tim and I were talking about, followed about 1,600 men over 15 years, and it randomized the men into either treatment or radiation or surgery. And at the end, they said there is no difference between any of those different categories. And it's just, you know, with any of these studies, the devil's in the details. You don't always know how they did the study, what cohort of people were in each of those groups, and so it's tough. But I've already heard from patients that say, well, this is just, you know, a week after it came out, that I don't need to do anything about my PSA or prostate cancer, and that can be a challenging topic to discuss with them and try and get them to understand where we're coming from as a physician.
Man, I got to tell you, when I was told after a colonoscopy that it was recommended that I have surgery and a portion of my colon removed because they found a polyp that was cancerous. It was ultimately, and believe me, I tried to get so many second opinions, second, third, fourth. I was just waiting for somebody to say, I don't agree with them. You don't need to go through surgery. But and then when it was all said and done, I was stage 1, not stage 2 cancer. I still feel I made the right move by having that taken out of my body.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to, you know, I always kind of look at it as, what would I do if this was my mother or my father or my family member? Because then it kind of changes the calculus rather than just a number on a piece of paper. You have to really think about, you know, what are the risks and the benefits, right, Bill? I mean, maybe things would have been okay if you didn't, but maybe they wouldn't have.
Right.
So ultimately, you know, it's a conversation about those risks and benefits. And I think that's the most important take-home part about this article, is you should talk about it with your physician. You should talk about all the different options and sort of discuss, you know, what the patient wants and what the recommendations of the physicians are.
Well, and we've seen so much contrasting information in the last couple of years. COVID has really just put a magnifying glass on it. And I think that as we were learning about COVID in real time on television, people were hyper-focused on it. We were watching it every single day. I think we got many things wrong, and we learned. And normally, when studying something like COVID-19, we would have normally learned all about it, known, and made those missteps outside the public eye. But it was done in front of, on TV for the most part. And every day there was a different story, and things changed, and the way we treated it seemed to be different as time went on. But, Doc, don't you feel that it's that lack of confidence that doctors and physicians are living with today? People are questioning everything, even the things they probably shouldn't be questioning. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, Bill. I mean, I think that's, you know, part of, I think, a physician's job is to educate, but it's tough to educate when there's all of these, you know, social media, TV, all these sort of different opinions, whether they're correct or not, you don't know. In this sort of era of misinformation, can make it very challenging to try get the physician and the patient on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
yeah.
Sometimes suspicions and conspiracy theories, and it can make it difficult.
You can always find a physician
Yep.
who's willing to, whether they're being paid to or they're looking for clicks online, willing to come up with an alternate theory.
It's called doc shopping.
Doc shopping. You're right. You're right. That's why the attorneys go and looking for that all the time. Tim, you have a question?
Yeah. So one of the things that Dan was talking about in regards to second opinions, and Dan was the one that diagnosed me with prostate cancer, and I'd said to him, I said, listen, I love you, but I'm going to go get a second opinion.
Yeah.
And he asked where I was going to get it done. I had it done at Sloan Kettering down in New York City, and I said, I hope your feelings aren't hurt in regards to me doing this.
Right.
That I'm questioning your talents. And he said, Tim, he goes, number one, you've chosen a great place to get it done, and number two, this is your life.
Right.
You ultimately have to be the advocate of your life. And so I really appreciated that in regards to it. And the other thing is just kind of a general comment is, you're talking about COVID. We're coming off 3 years of, let's face it, people are not getting tested.
Right.
And it's not only prostate, it's everything. And I just really fear that we're going to see, prostate, the good news is it's very slow moving. The bad news is it's very slow moving in regards to it. And I just get scared that cancers in general, we're going to see a hockey stick of issues popping up because of this. This is going to be one of the unintended consequences of COVID.
Talking with Dr. Dan Welkons, Tim Reed in studio. Doc, on what Tim just said, are we in for a boon, if you will, of cancer issues because people have procrastinated?
Yeah, I mean, we're already starting to see that. Patients presenting with really high PSAs that haven't been seen in 3+ years. I do recall when you and Tim started your initiative, Real Men Get Tested. We saw a huge influx of patients coming in to get tested. And that really was, I felt, a very helpful local sort of endeavor to help with those sort of patients. And then COVID kind of hit, and we probably, lost a lot of those patients that were coming in and getting tested. And so I agree with that. And we're certainly seeing patients presenting maybe at a stage, I think more presenting where the disease has progressed. And I think that's part of it. We haven't seen them in 3+ years.
Yeah. You're better off knowing, I feel. And I think it still holds true. The earlier you are able to detect something like cancer, the better the chance you have of being able to beat it.
Yep.
Agree.
Dr. Dan Welkons, thank you for the time. We appreciate it. And by the way, you saved Tim, and indirectly you saved me because Tim got on me immediately after what he was going through, and that's what inspired me to finally go and get a colonoscopy, which I hadn't done. And you discover the bad news. But without it, who knows what would have happened? It wouldn't have been good. So.
Some people have cheered and some people have booed.
Yes, that's right. Couldn't you just let him go?
Your initiative was great. I think it really helped people, and I give you guys all the credit in the world for starting that. So Thank you.
Doc, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We'll do it again. Thanks.
Thanks, Dan.
Bye, Bill. Bye, Tim.
Dan Welkons, Dr. Dan Welkons. Stand by, Tim. We'll talk more in a second. I want to tell you about River Hills Properties. Sooner or later, you'll stop procrastinating and say, it's time to sell the house. It happens, understood, and it's a very emotional moment for a lot of people, probably for most people, getting rid of your home. And it's also extremely stressful. The people at River Hills want to alleviate that stress as much as they possibly can, and they do. It's all the extra things that they do every step of the process. From the very, very beginning, your listing agent learns all about the property, what it means to you, the improvements that have been made, and the real value of your home. And then they work from there. Every time there is, when the bank comes in and does an assessment, your listing agent will be there. In our case, we had an issue where they couldn't come up with the comparables, And Robin Manja was our listing agent and whipped out of her folder 3 different comparables, gave them to the assessor, and bingo, it worked. Otherwise, it would have been a longer, more stressful process. They were there to take that stress away, and that was from start to finish. Every time your house is shown, you know your listing agent will be there on the spot to answer questions and to keep an eye on your property. That was everything in the world to us. So if you're going to think about selling your home, why wouldn't you list with River Hills Properties? Sit down and chat with them. In Little Falls, Barneville, and Utica, serving all of upstate New York, 315-896-1009. WIBX Utica, Rome. It's 8 o'clock.
The next front in the fight. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News. With federal abortion rights having been reversed by the Supreme Court last year, activists are going after abortion pills now. There's a federal court hearing today in Texas.
U.S. District Judge Matthew Kaczmarek will hear arguments over the drug mifepristone. For 2 decades, the Food and Drug Administration has given its approval to the drug, which is used for medically induced abortions. The group challenging the drug's availability was also active in the push to overturn Roe v. Wade.
Fox's Colonel Scott. A U.S. reconnaissance drone brought down in the Black Sea south of Ukraine has not been recovered and may never be recovered, says National Security Council spokesman John Kirby. Fox's Lucas Tomlinson in D.C.
The U.S. Reaper drone went down about 75 miles southwest of Russian-occupied Crimea near Ukraine after a Russian fighter jet collided with the drone's propeller. Russia's ambassador to the U.S. wants the U.S. military to stop what he calls hostile flights in the Black Sea near Russian-controlled territory. The incident raising concerns about possibly sensitive U.S. military technology falling into Russian hands.
The State Department summoning the Russian ambassador to formally express strong objections to the drone being intercepted. Winter storms hit both coasts with more snow, rain, and wind in the forecast in some of those areas today.
The weight loads, that's the big issue now. Anything that has snow on it's going to be falling.
He's in San Bernardino, California. Around 190,000 homes and businesses in California are reported to be without power, about the same number in the Northeast from New York to Maine.
These snow totals vary greatly from one city to the next, with Boston recording 5 inches or less in some places. But just head 45 minutes out of town and you're looking at 1.5 feet. In Worcester, Will Nunley, Fox Weather.
Second day of protests and fighting with police in cities around Pakistan. The protesters are supporters of former Prime Minister Imran Khan. Police have been trying to arrest him for failing to appear in court on corruption charges. He came out of his home in Lahore, Pakistan, to meet with some of those supporters. America's listening to Fox News.
Paid for by government.com. The 1878 to 1921 Morgan silver dollar, a true American classic and one of the most iconic silver dollar coins in history. It's been 100 years since the last Morgan silver dollar coin was struck for circulation, and now, for a limited time only, full pound bags of original U.S. government struck Morgan dollars are being released to the public. That's right, you can own a full pound of 1878 to 1921 classic American Morgan silver dollar coins, all in very good collector condition with fully visible dates and mint marks, guaranteed. Call 1-800-509-6468 now to secure collector-grade U.S. Morgan silver dollars by the pound, struck during the Wild West and the Gilded Age. Plus, receive a bonus American Collector's Pack, valued at over $25, free with every order. Call 1-800-509-6468 now to secure your full pound bag of Morgan silver dollar coins before they are gone. 1-800-509-6468. That's 1-800-509-6468.
A Princeton University student faces criminal charges related to the January 6th Capitol riot. Federal prosecutors say 21-year-old Larry Giberson was part of a group that assaulted Capitol police officers. He was arrested in Washington, D.C., and released, one of about 1,000 people now who have been charged in connection with the riot. The House Homeland Security Committee holds another meeting at the border today, hearing from the chief of U.S. Border Patrol.
Raul Ortiz set to testify at the House Homeland Security Committee's field meeting in McAllen, Texas, later this morning. But committee Democrats are boycotting, despite the fact they invited Ortiz and other witnesses to testify. Committee chair and Tennessee Congressman Mark Green saying, quote, "The only message their absence sends is that they are uninterested in coming to the table to have a conversation about the devastation that this border crisis is having on Americans and their communities across the country."
Fox's Todd Pyro. Democrats on the Homeland Security Committee say holding the hearings at the border is just a political stunt. An update on Senator John Fetterman's condition.
Pennsylvania Senator John Fetterman could leave Walter Reed Medical Center in as early as 2 weeks, according to a report in the New York Post. Senator Fetterman checked himself into Walter Reed to treat his clinical depression. Fetterman has faced a slate of health issues. He suffered a stroke last May while campaigning for the Senate. Fetterman's staff has posted pictures on social media of him continuing to work in the hospital. Late last month, his communications director said the senator's recovery process will be a, quote, weeks-long one. Jessica Stone, Fox News.
Diamond Sports Group files for bankruptcy. It's a subsidiary of Sinclair, the owner of regional sports networks, airing the games of 42 pro baseball, basketball, and hockey teams. RSN's called Bally Sports. At some point, missed rights fee payments could lead to broken contracts and Major League Baseball taking over those broadcasts. At the opening bell on Wall Street, stocks are way down. The Dow futures down about 500. I'm Chris Foster, Fox News.
I'm Eyewitness News Chief Meteorologist Craig Flint in the WIBX Weather Center. Today, lingering light snow showers and flurries taper. Windy and chilly as clouds decrease, turning mainly sunny by late, a high 35. Tonight, mainly clear to partly cloudy, near 20. And tomorrow, partly cloudy with increasing clouds throughout the day, turning breezy and not as cold. By afternoon, a high of 43. For more on your local forecast, tune to Eyewitness News at 6 on WUTR. I'm meteorologist Craig Flint on WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM.
Spring is on the way, and if you're looking to make the most of it in a new RV, camper, boat, or trailer, then look to Mohawk Valley FCU. Right now, you can get up to 120 months financing for as low as 5.74% APR for any new recreation vehicle. That's 120 months of financing for as low as 5.74% APR. Go to MohawkValleyFCU.org for more info and to apply today. Mohawk Valley FCU, member focused, member driven.
A lot goes into taking care of your property. You need equipment with more reliability and versatility built in, like Kubota BX and L Series compact tractors, rated #1 in durability and owner experience. Z Series mowers that deliver a quality cut, and Sidekick utility vehicles where durability meets speed. Visit your local Kubota dealer for a demo today.
Log on or give us a call today at whitesfarmsupply.com.
White's Farm Supply.
You have cancer. 3 words you wish you could unhear. But just because a cancer diagnosis may be a shock to your system doesn't mean cancer surgery has to be. Now, there's Edge Radio Surgery. It breaks down tumors in less than an hour per treatment. No knife, no hospital stay. Faster treatments, lower risk. Edge Radio Surgery, now at AMP of New York. Learn more at ampofny.com/edge. You may experience side effects which may be severe. Ask your doctor if Edge Radio Surgery and Associated Medical Professionals of New York is right for you.
Do you ever get the feeling that the world is being held together with duct tape? Every day we're thrown some new meaningless drama in the fake news to distract us from the reality we're all about to face. Between the government trying to print their way out of debt, military conflicts, the disintegration of our most trusted institutions, and a looming food shortage, preparedness is no longer a choice. It's a necessity. You can trust My Patriot Supply. Our emergency food kits come packed with tasty meals, averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Get at least 1 kit for each person in your family. Self-reliance is the only alternative to government food lines. Time is running out. Become ungovernable. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com and save on dozens of different emergency food kits while you can. These kits are in stock, ship fast, and arrive in unmarked boxes for your privacy. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com before the next crisis strikes. MyPatriotSupply.com.
I can't take this kitchen any longer. Carl, we need to start looking for a new house.
Honey, you know the housing market is tight. It's going to be next to impossible to find something that we like.
I know, but this kitchen has to go.
Hey, what about a home equity loan from Adirondack Bank? We can turn the equity from our home into cash to renovate, just the way you want.
Renovate?
Adirondack Bank has competitive rates, and they've been a trusted community bank for decades.
A new kitchen. Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah.
Then, of course, we would need new furniture, and we could repair the deck, even add a pool, and take that trip to Italy that we've always talked about.
Whoa, slow down, honey. Let's go talk to the experts at Adirondack Bank about that home equity loan. Then we can decide where to start.
I've always wanted to add on a craft room, and our bathroom needs a facelift.
Don't move. Improve. Stop into your local Adirondack Bank branch for more information on a home equity loan or visit AdirondackBank.com. Bank local with Adirondack Bank, your hometown community bank. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Hey, Fred F. Collis and Sons Heating and Cooling. We know them for heating. We know them for cooling, but I should add insulation. Fred F. Collis and Sons Heating, cooling, and insulation. For years, they've been doing insulation. We, of course, have used them for recently for a furnace that went to the dark side, and we had to replace the furnace. And Collis was there when it went down, and it was 15, 16 below zero. Collis was there. We know that we can count on them. And they have a team that is completely dedicated to ensuring that customers save any way possible, and that includes insulation. There are rebates out there and incentives available in New York State. Some will give you a portion of the funding. There are programs, depending on your situation, that people have qualified for the entire insulation install, and it's completely taken care of, along with other no-cost energy efficiency upgrades. The process begins with a free home energy assessment. We had that done in our home, and the experts at Collis can come in, do a little investigation on your property, on your home, on the construction of your home, and when they're done, they give you all sorts of different ideas on how you can save money. But the recommendation might be that insulation is an option. Trust Collis for heating, cooling, and insulation. Check them out online or visit them. Fred F. Collis & Sons, Heating and Cooling.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
I have Ann piping in here this morning. Davey, line 2 or line 3, whatever line that is falling on. God bless you both for continuing to encourage men and women, I think, to get tested.
She's the best.
She is the best. Just don't get on her bad side.
Oh, yeah. No, I met her at Jimmy Fallon's show, I think, 2 years ago or whatever it was. You know, it's interesting. You think someone, if you've never met someone.
Right.
And you meet them for the first time, you go, you didn't look like the way I thought you were or whatever it is. But she's a...
To me, she looks exactly like
she's
that, right?
She's a firecracker, that one.
So, in speaking with Dr. Welkons, he's an example of the great physicians that we have in the area.
Exactly.
And if you're going to have prostate surgery done or treatment for prostate cancer, don't you want to go to somebody who's very experienced in that?
Yes, and the one thing which I did omit in regards to when I came back from Sloan Kettering, they totally agreed with Dr. Welkon's opinion in regards to it. So we've got some wonderful doctors here, and you know, and I had asked Dan, you know, if you know, what would you tell your dad?
Right,
and he said exactly the same thing as I'm telling you right now. He's a gentle soul and is very caring.
Yeah, I guess I almost feel like they give. So right now there are people giving advice saying if you get prostate cancer, if they say your PSI level or PSA levels are off, just ignore it. It's not going to kill you. You'll live a full life. Don't worry about it. I'm not sure that they would give the same recommendation for their dad or themselves, because you may have the prostate cancer that's moving quickly. Right. And do you want to wait? Because the longer you wait, the less of a chance you have at correcting it. Sometimes I think they're treating it the way they treated masks. So they said, you don't have to go out and wear a mask in the very beginning, if you remember. Well, the reason they were saying that was we had a huge shortage, and they didn't have masks to take care of the people in the hospitals. So sometimes I think they're telling us this so that there isn't, because the system can't handle everyone doing it.
Right.
But at the end of the day, why I said, what would they do with the president? Immediately they're going to take care of the problem.
Exactly.
Well, why would they take care of a president and recommend not to take care of you? I think I'd rather get the same treatment.
Yeah,
right? I want to get that treatment. And with women in mammography, when they were saying you don't have to take those tests as often, I just thought that was ridiculous.
Yeah,
because that's a real killer.
Yeah, you get very concerned in regards to, you just hope and pray that it's not a money issue.
Yeah.
In regards to it, because our lives are precious, and you hope it isn't, because there's an insurance thing or something like that, or whatever those things. And I'm not saying that there is or whatever, but there's always a concern.
I want to know, we share every once in a while back and forth on ideas for what are you watching. So there's so much so much out there today. Today being the 15th, the Ides of March, today Ted Lasso comes back. Are you watching that one?
I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
So you're caught up on that.
I'm all caught up.
Yeah. Isn't that an awesome show?
Yeah. It's I just read the review on in regards to it, that I guess the first 4 episodes, whoever the reviewer was saying that there's not as much Ted apparently in this in the early runs or whatever it is, because there's an incredible cast of characters.
Yeah, there is.
And I think that it's the focus on Nate. I think
and he's gone to the dark side.
He's gone to the
dark
side. Just like your furnace.
Yes, that's right. Went to the dark side.
Went to the dark side.
Although he's surviving, and my furnace did not survive. But that program is back, and I am not a soccer fan,
right?
So I didn't think I'd like it, and I resisted the show because I'm not a soccer fan. You don't need to be a soccer fan.
No, absolutely not.
No, it's really, really good. And Davey, you've started watching it as well.
Yeah, I'm on season 2.
Yeah, tonight they're back. It's back tonight. Pretty excited. This is a great story about a woman, and this is National or International Women's Month or whatever.
Isn't every month.
This woman named Kimberly saw her job posted online. Boy, if I could tell you the number of times I've seen that in my business. Saw her job posted online, but they were paying more than what she was making. So she applied, ... What happens next? Kimberly's on the line right now. Kimberly, where are you from, by the way?
Hi, I'm originally from Nebraska, but I live in New York City now.
You do? Okay. And I should say you are not a morning person.
I am not a morning person.
So
I really am not.
I really want to thank you for getting up here this morning. All right. So give us the background on your story and what you did.
Yeah. So I have been trying to get a raise for months because the salary transparency laws went into effect in New York in about November, December, and at that time I was just very curious. So I started looking at other companies, like what they were paying UX writers, which is what I do. And there was no company that was listing a UX writer job for a salary as low as mine. So I went to my managers and I said, "Hey, can I get a raise? There's, I'm getting paid way below my market value."
Yeah. And by the way, what do you do again?
I'm a user experience copywriter.
Okay. Oh, you're a copywriter. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went to management and said, "What's going on here?"
Yeah, but I'm technically a contractor for Citibank. So then they were like, "You have to go back to the contracting company because there's nothing we can do." So I went back to the contracting agency and I was like, "Hey, can I?" They sent me back to you. And they saw that they had to put me through this whole performance review. And they said I would hear back in March. And last week they sent me an email that said that I wouldn't hear back until April. So it's just kind of been like a 3-month battle to try to raise my salary. Yeah. And so the other day I was just scrolling on LinkedIn. And, sometimes LinkedIn recommends you jobs.
Yeah.
It just happened to recommend me this job at Citibank for UX copywriter. But I specifically, looked at the salary just because I was curious, and I saw it was like $32,000 to $90,000 more than what I'm making now.
Wow. And let me tell you, if you're living in Manhattan, that makes a big difference. It's expensive.
It does.
Yeah, it's expensive. So you find your job, posted for much more money, and then what did you do?
So I took the link and I posted it in this group chat with all of the other UX writers and my team managers. And I said, "Hey, what's going on? Is this something that we can apply for? Can we have it?"
Yeah.
And then I went ahead and applied for it anyway, just in case, I didn't want to miss the train. I wanted to be in line for the job. But it turns out it is not something that we could apply for. My managers were unsure like why the job was listed. It was likely an internal conversion. But yeah, I mean, whatever it is, it's not something that we can apply for. So
you could. So you're screwed.
I am a little bit.
No, you could have lied, right? I would immediately be like, okay, what if it's almost like the cable company, right? You're paying all this money for cable, and then you find out the new customers, and you're loyal. The new customers come in and they get a much better deal. So you can't risk quitting and then reapplying. What about, so basically they're going to hire someone to do the exact same job as you, and they're going to end up paying them much more.
Yeah, the confusing thing is I don't think they actually intend to hire anybody. Like, my managers were very confused why the job listing was posted. Yeah, they said likely it's like an internal conversion. Like someone internal is going to be like converted into the role.
Yeah.
But that still means that somebody else who is being internally converted is still going to make a lot more money than me. I'm very upset.
And then I'm wondering, Kimberly, what do you, when you're a copywriter, what do you write? What do you write copy for?
Yeah, I'm a UX copywriter, which means I write all of the text for mobile apps and websites.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're so when I go to a website, our bank, for instance, and it explains something, there's someone that's actually writing that text, and it's someone like you.
Yeah.
You write it so that it's easy to understand and all of that. Do you have questions, Tim? You look like you have a question.
I guess the question for me, Kimberly, is it seems like you're kind of caught between a rock and a hard place in regards to this performance review, because the bank is saying, well, we wouldn't, we'd love to give you.
We want to give you a raise.
We want to give you a big
that's
raise.
Right.
But we
But
can't
you work
because
for
of
the contractor.
Well, you work for the contractor, and the contractor now is saying, well, we have to write a performance review. But how can the contractor write a performance review on you in regards to that? Really, ultimately, the customer is the one that has to decide, how well you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing about the contracting agency, too, is I never do any work for them. Like, they simply just give me a paycheck twice a month. Yeah, I do all of my work for Citibank, so they asked me to get, reviews, from my managers, and it's been a whole process. And I don't know if they actually, read them or, how much the performance reviews actually have an effect on the raise. I really don't think that I'm actually going to get my raise, or not the amount that I saw in the job listing, especially because that was for a full-time employee role at Citibank, and I'm still technically a contractor.
Right. And Citibank is saving on
all the benefits,
and all the fees. They're just paying a lump sum to the contractor, and the contractor's handling all that other stuff. Can you tell me, and I hope this is not too private, I don't think it is, but estimate, if you would, what does rent cost you in New York City?
My rent is $22.50 for a studio.
For a studio?
Wow.
$22.50 a month. Wow.
Well, Kimberly, all I have to say is that there's a massive worker shortage out there, and a
lot of jobs.
Doing what you do certainly is a talent, and I'm not telling you what to do, but there's a lot of green grass out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking at the greener grass.
Listen, let me just tell you something.
I wish we had it up here.
If I could give you a little bit of advice, if you're looking for the greener grass, don't take a copywriting job at a radio station. Don't. Whatever you do, the grass is brown. I'm telling you.
It's mud.
They'll paint a green picture, but it ain't green. That's all I'm saying. Okay, Kimberly, good luck out there, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thanks so much. Yeah, that is, if you're going to be posting somebody's job and you're posting it and it's showing that you're willing to pay that much more a year, That's a mistake.
How's that make you feel, too, personally?
That's not good. And then they don't have a solution for her. I thought there was going to be an end. I applied for my job, and they gave it to me, and I'm making $50,000 more a year.
Yeah.
But she didn't have an end to the story, sadly. Sorry about that. Ryan Noble's coming up in a few minutes. Tim is in this morning. Jeff Manaski is out with the plague. I don't know what it is, but he sounds awful, right? You talked to him. You didn't talk to him this morning. But yesterday didn't sound too good.
No, I haven't talked to him since yesterday morning.
Yeah. And as I said, hope you feel better. We don't want it here. Yeah. It's 8:24 at WIBX.
Hi, I'm Max Carbone, sales manager at Power Sports Utica. We are currently overstocked on 2023 Ski-Doo models, and we are offering up to $2,000 off sticker plus a $500 gift card for anything in the store. Kawasaki KLR models have $1,000 in rebates as well, and we have all colors and trims available in stock and ready for delivery. Kawasaki KLX models have $400 in rebate and up to $1,500 off KX models. Come visit us at Power Sports Utica, Central New York's Four Seasons toy store.
COVID is still spreading. Don't let your guard down. Anyone can get severely ill from COVID. But your risk is greater if you're over 65, if you're obese, have heart or lung disease, diabetes, or another underlying health condition. Lower your risk of serious illness, hospitalization, and death with the most up-to-date COVID vaccines, including the booster. Learn more at ny.gov/booster.
How do you sum up 70 years in 30 seconds? The Community Foundation of Herkimer and Oneida counties has helped nonprofit groups put more than $110 million donor dollars to work over the last 7 decades. Programs, services, people, places, progress. Our 30 seconds are about up, but we're just getting started. Learn more at foundationhoc.org and help us work toward a vibrant region with opportunity for all.
Every day at NBT Bank, we focus our business around all the ways we can help yours. We're large enough to offer leading business and digital solutions, but local enough to ensure personalized one-on-one service. So turn to NBT Bank for a full range of business solutions, like capital and treasury management services, even fraud protection, and see how NBT Bank is just the right size to help you do big things. Visit nbtbank.com to learn more and start a conversation. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Hi, I'm Pete from Big Apple Music, and whether it's your home or business, you have a lot invested. In the past, a camera surveillance system was an expensive luxury. Big Apple has now made it affordable. Big Apple is the area's leader when it comes to camera surveillance systems, having installed hundreds locally in homes and businesses. Big Apple is New York State licensed for security and camera surveillance, with most of our products sourced from American companies. Featuring Starlight Night Vision, our cameras dollar for dollar have the best night vision available. A camera surveillance system can offer full property coverage. It prevents and reduces crime, monitors high-risk areas like parking lots and showrooms, and Big Apple has a fully set-up showroom to give you real-time, realistic demonstrations of just how great a camera system can be for you. Stop in and see for yourself at Big Apple Music in New Hartford.
Step into spring with Adirondack Home Furniture and quality furniture that's sure to enhance any living space. Whether it be for your great room, your new home office, or outside patio, Adirondack Home Furniture has your style. From modern to farmhouse, rustic to transitional, handcrafted pieces that are totally customizable and are built for enduring use. Beautiful sofas and reclining furniture from Flex Steel, designer fabrics and top brand leathers. With free local delivery and a knowledgeable staff, you'll have your dream home in no time. Adirondack Home Furniture has a large line of quality USA-made furniture from top manufacturers. Our salespeople are non-commissioned, which means you enjoy a relaxing, non-stressful experience. So stop in today to Adirondack Home Furniture for living rooms, dining rooms, bedrooms, and home office. You'll find everything you need for your dream home. Adirondack Home Furniture at Riverside Center in North Utica or at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com. Create the home of your dreams with Adirondack Home Furniture.
The Falcon Clinic in Washington Mills is accepting new patients. Dr. Shemileski and Dr. Zielinski. There is a counselor on the staff at the Falcon Clinic. If you need acupuncture. There is an acupuncturist at the Falcon Clinic. All of this under one roof. It's the area's premier osteopathic medical clinic. So if you're looking for a specialty, if you're looking to deal with pain or fatigue, ADHD, or any other health issue, reach out to the Falcon Clinic. If you're looking for a new family doctor, the Falcon Clinic can help as well. Call them today at 315-507-4751. Have you been tested for hepatitis C? It is prevalent in baby boomers, and it's 100% curable. Dr. Shemaleski is Hep C certified. Call today, 315-507-4751, or visit them online, falconclinic.com. The Falcon Clinic, accepting new patients right now, located in Washington Mills.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, Tim Reed in studio. We'll get this going with Ryan Knowles here in a little while. We'll speak with Ryan from NBC. And Ryan's wife is an SU graduate from Newhouse. I wonder what what his take is on Syracuse. What's your take on Boeheim and this crazy week that's gone on?
I think there were a lot of lawyers working.
I'll bet.
I think that there was. It just feels like there was something kind of going on behind, and I don't know what it is in any way, shape, or manner. Don't know, but it's just the quickness of how this whole thing occurred. Some people have said when Jim said, "I'm going to make the decision when I want to leave," that the administration was less than thrilled with that idea. And then all of a sudden he backtracked on it. This has been this has been a tough year.
And then the Brent Axe thing.
Awful for Brett. He is. What a coming from 950. You
started here. He was.
You look at the sports talent that came through here on this show through IBX. I feel terrible for him.
Yeah, and how do you do a talk show and know that, well, you can't say anything, and in Syracuse, you can't say anything negative about, even when there are negative things happening, you can't say anything negative about the Orange or about Syracuse University.
Right.
I don't know how you do a show like that.
Well, I think, if you really want to be a good, and this probably goes in general in regards to reporting, in regards to it, you're there to call balls and strikes.
Right.
You're not there to, allow other people to have that in regards to it. And you deal with the good things and you deal with the bad things. And I know Brett had said that he was receiving a tremendous amount of feedback in regards to Jim this year and in regards to a lot of those sorts of issues. And, did he pay for it? I don't know.
Well, it's what at least he said he was told in the newspaper.
Right.
And by the way, he works for his full-time job is Syracuse Post-Standard, Syracuse.com. But Boeheim, do you believe him when he says, he was on Dan Patrick yesterday, do you believe him when he says, I was 100% ready to retire? I wanted to retire. I do think there's a battle going on. The battle that's been happening is over him staying on as an ambassador for SU.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
I think there's probably was negotiation over how much money he'd be getting.
Right. I think there's a lot of people that I've heard from who've said it would have been really great if Jim had decided to leave when his kids left.
Yeah.
That kind of would have been the end of the era in regards to this whole thing. It feels, and I hope Autry does a wonderful job, but neither of the assistant coaches I think were a flight risk or whatever.
Right.
You just hope that he does a good job because this is a major D1 school for basketball, and you want it to succeed. And could you have gotten someone else somewhere?
Right.
With high
and you got the dome to play with.
Exactly.
It's a great recruiting tool for players and coaches, I would assume.
The other thing is that, in Jim's defense, he was not one of the highest paid coaches by.
Right,
I mean,
right.
he was like number 30, I think. And if you think about the amount of years he had now. He's not having to eat dog food. I mean, I think he's okay. You know, he's got the endorsements and all those sorts of things or whatever it is. But
and I think he's okay, certainly okay now. Whatever deal they put together, he's being paid very well to be this ambassador for the college.
Exactly. Well, he's brought a lot of glory to SU basketball, and boy, I certainly wish him the best.
How horrible the last week was. Even Boeheim said that he regrets, he wishes there wasn't a press conference last week.
Yeah.
But I do think he accomplished his goal. And that was
well. Some people say the best game is the press conference afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, because you don't know where Jim's going to go.
And it was very obvious to me that he wanted that last question asked so he could remind everybody. This is up to the university. This is their decision. So if they get rid of me or say I'm retiring, you know it's because they made me do it.
Yep.
And I think that they probably got a lot of criticism, not for basically encouraging Boeheim to retire, but for the way they handle it after 40, 50 years of service to the university.
Exactly.
Okay, so the NCAA tournament, if you're filling out your bracket, you got to have it ready by noon tomorrow. Is that right, Davey?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have an opinion on the Syracuse thing?
No. So I've already told my opinion too.
And are you looking at any upsets right now that you think are in your favor that might be worth throwing some money at?
I think the team down in Hamilton,
Colgate
can pull off and beat Texas. Colgate is the number one team in three-pointers in the nation.
This is a Texas team that is very hot right now.
And so is Colgate, though.
But so is Colgate. And one of these teams is going in probably overconfident, and one of these teams is going in feeling a bit slighted. So you put that together.
Exactly.
And even last year, if they would have given the same performance in the second half, if they could have remained as hot shooting those three-pointers in the second half as they did in the first half, they would have won last year.
Was that when they played Wisconsin? Was that?
Yeah, they
played Wisconsin, and they played them right. Basically, it was a home game for Wisconsin.
They played them in Madison. They played them in Madison.
Yeah.
So here is some. If you're looking for you're filling out your bracket, here are some first-round tournament upsets. Are you ready? They say a game to watch is number 10 Penn State upsetting Texas A&M, number 7.
And the winner of that game would go against Colgate or Texas.
Texas A&M ended their season with a 19-4 record, so many think a seed higher than 7 was deserved. Still, they're where they are, and that's a matchup with a hot Penn State team right now. Penn State is top 10 when it comes to turnovers, three-point percentage, and three-point rate. Look at that game as a possible upset. Then, number 12, Drake against Miami, which got a 5 seed. Drake comes into the tournament winning 13 of their last 14 games. The status of Miami center Norchard Omier is, how do you say that?
You're pronouncing it right. He got hurt during the ACC tourney.
Yes. If his ankle prevents him from playing or slows him down at all, it could make all the difference in the world. So keep an eye on that one. They say VCU versus St. Mary's. Number 12, VCU. St. Mary's has the pieces to make a run, but they drew a rough start against VCU. Sporting a 17-2 record to close out their season, VCU showed strong offense and shot 41.8% from the free throw line. There are two more. Kent State and Indiana. Number 13, Kent State would be one to keep an eye on. And the other one is Montana State versus number 3, Kansas State. Montana State is ranked or is seeded 14 on paper. It should not be close, but analysts seem to think Kansas State drew a horrendous matchup here. Kansas State ranks 340th out of 360 schools when it comes to turnovers. Whereas Montana State has a 20.7 defensive turnover rate. So, and I think the Iona UConn game is one to, I mean, because anytime he's coaching Paterno, it's, you got to watch him.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a good one. And, of course, I do like I like Colgate. I do like Colgate. What do you think?
Well, so a couple things. One is it seems like this year you're hearing more comments about injuries of players than I've ever heard in the past. And I guess how the selection committee maybe figures that in or doesn't figure that in regards to those sorts of things. The other thing is, I think the ability to understand what a lot of these mid-majors are doing. I mean, you'll hear names like Kennesaw State or these places or whatever it is that I don't know how much of a look they've really, really gotten, which is kind of the exciting thing. Or like Colgate, that all of a sudden they come out of nowhere and they've shined in their specific spot, but not a chance in a bigger place.
Hey, Dave, you got it. I would say Colgate's a great example because you really don't know how good they are, right?
Well, I'll tell you a game that's going to be interesting, and it's certainly out of a loyalty is Providence is going to be playing against Kentucky now.
And you just so happen to be wearing the Providence.
And I'm wearing my so
your kids went to Providence.
Yeah, you know how much this sweatshirt cost me. So
it wasn't $50.
No,
I'll tell you that.
The story behind that one is Bryce Hopkins, who was probably in the running for maybe being Big East. He faded a little bit, Player of the Year.
Right.
Only scored about, he only had 3 or 4 minutes playing with Kentucky, transfers to Providence, and has just been a man on fire. Now, so who's the first team that they're going to be playing against? Kentucky.
Oh, okay.
So there's going to be a real love fest there.
What do you think on? Do you go?
I think
with
they've got
your heart.
I think they've got. It depends on which Providence team shows up. I mean, it's a team basically of transfers, and this transfer portal has certainly
changed everything. Yeah,
everything.
And I think that's really what we're looking at with Colgate. If Colgate can be running on all cylinders,
right,
they could play with anybody. And they really did this year. So,
and he says,
but it's 2 halves of all cylinders.
And he said that didn't he say that he thinks that this team is better than what he had last year? I think.
Yeah.
So
I think it's a more balanced. It's a more balanced team, right, Davey? You would say, they can get inside, and that creates a real threat because they still can throw them down from outside the.
They got their number, like I said earlier, they're number 1 in the nation in 3 points.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
You know, Davey, talking about Boeheim in regards to it, and the good news was his use of the 2-3 zone, has the 3-pointer kind of destroyed that as a technique because he has been a coach since Jesus was a boy, and what is Autry going to do?
He was asked that question, right?
When he takes,
he didn't have an answer.
He was asked that question if they're going to continue the man-to-man or the zone. And he said he didn't have no answer for that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Larry is on the line right now. Larry on the NCAA. Hi, Larry. Good morning.
Hey, Bill. I just want to comment on Brad Axe. I consider him a friend. I met him through Brad Davies. He was doing a heck of a job. The problem is with the area being small is you can't report what you see. You have to throw softball questions to coaches. You have to look through rose-colored glasses that everything's good. You can't report what you see. The same thing if a politician comes here and you're a little controversy, your press pass will be revoked. You'll never get another press conference with that one again. And that's the problem with what's going on.
I will say there is, and I think Brent has it, there is an art to asking the tough questions. And you have to do it in a way that you don't get kicked out. But you can still ask tough questions. And I think I have a really, obviously, a strong opinion that I can't legally give based on previous relationships. That's how I'm wording it. But I would say this, that sometimes we use things conveniently, and this is not necessarily in the Brent situation, right? Sometimes we use things conveniently in order to solve another problem. Does that make any sense at all, Larry?
Yes, without saying too much, it probably happened in your situation, but we won't go into that.
We can't talk about that, though, can we?
Well, Bill, though, the thing is, as far as the politicians are concerned, that totally doesn't happen to you in regards to, having issues.
No, I mean, and Larry, believe me, we have people who refuse to come on this program because they feel like I'm going to be unfair. We're not going to be unfair. We're just going to ask the questions you don't want us to ask. We're going to do that.
Right.
Yep.
And
exactly.
Otherwise, what am I doing Why would we even want to be doing this if there are people off limits that you can't ask questions to?
Exactly. And if the team's not doing good or stink,
Listen, let's think about it. Between football between football and basketball, Larry, I mean, what is he supposed to talk about? This has been a rough couple of years.
Well, what happens when you have a lot of money, like certain people have, that with Galaxy, they could do what they want, and that's what happens.
I cannot comment on that. But
okay, Bill.
Thank you, Larry. All right, man.
Yep.
By the way, on March Madness, here's some last-minute little unique stats that might help you with your. And before I even get into the unique stats, sometimes I believe, and Davey and I were talking about this yesterday. The person, have your wife fill out your bracket if she knows nothing about basketball. That is the way to do it, because chances are she'll do better than you will. And you were looking at the stats and looking at the numbers and all that. She'll pick based on, I like this city.
Yeah. I like the Gaucho better than the
that's
Hawk
right.
or
Yeah.
whatever.
That's right.
Yeah.
Or the mascots.
Yep.
Or I heard somebody filled out a bracket, and it was completely based on where they want to go on vacation. And, they actually won. No knowledge of basketball whatsoever. But some last-minute bracket filling out information. Some obscure facts to consider in your quest to take everyone else in your March Madness bracket. Take them out. Here we go. The two teams with the best odds to win wear primarily red uniforms, Houston and Alabama. However, the last red team to win the tournament was Louisville in 2013 and Maryland in 2002.
Wow.
So if you're picking by color, maybe red is due.
So Kansas won last year. I would have thought that the Jayhawk is red, but maybe not. I guess not.
Yeah.
Huh.
Texas Southern entered the SWAC tournament at 11-20, but made the big dance by winning that tournament. That means they're entering the NCAA tournament with the 5th worst record. Granted, it's a play-in game, but at least they are there. Right? Interesting. Mm-hmm. Assuming Texas Southern wins today, they'll be taking on 1 seed Purdue and likely to be underdogs by more than 30 points. Purdue is 14-9 against the spread this year, which is the second worst of any number 1 seed. Even without Temple or Rice, there are still 2 Owls in the tournament, thanks to Florida Atlantic and Kennesaw State, if you care about Owls. Did you see that story of the woman who had her ear ripped off?
The monkey?
The monkey.
Yeah, I saw that.
You look out on your porch and you see a monkey. Beware. That's all I'm going to tell you. The over-under on Duke Oral Roberts is 110. Teams shoot over 77% from the free throw line. That state alone makes this game worth over consideration. Yeah. So maybe you go the over on that. In the first round, there are 5 matchups in which the head coach of one school makes at least 10 times the salary of the opposing head coach. We were talking about Boeheim not making that much.
Yep.
But there are coaches in there that don't make anything at all.
Yeah. They have to sweep up the gym after they're done.
You're right.
Yeah.
Last year was the first time in 8 years that the winning squad didn't wear the Nike logo, as Kansas had Adidas. One of the 13 most favored teams, Kansas is the only one not sporting Nike or Jordan. And if classic Greek literature is your thing, the East 7-10 matchup is the Trojans against the Spartans. The Trojans versus the Spartans. We'll break and wrap up this morning here. I don't think we're getting Ryan. I'm told he might be on TV right now and unable to call. We'll check on it, though. Stand by. We'll come right back. 848 at WIBX.
Warner Sales and Service. Building relationships. Building trust.
This is Lynn from Warner Sales and Service. If you are push mowing your yard, using an inefficient lawn tractor, or your current zero-turn spends more time in the shop than mowing your grass, it's time you look at a Hustler zero-turn lawnmower. Residential mowers from Hustler are built like tanks and drive like sports cars. All Hustler mowers have fabricated welded steel decks, Don't settle on cheap units with flimsy stamped decks from big box stores. Come see us at Warner Sales and Service on the Greenway New London Road in Rome, just off Route 365 between Rome and Verona, and we'll guide you to the right mower for your property and your budget. Find us at warnerss.com.
Warner's, where quality still counts. At Warner's.
Which room is next for you? The bedroom? Your kitchen? The living room? Hi, this is Kira Meelan from Meelan's Carpet One. What's holding back that next home project? Is it budget? We have flooring choices for any budget and financing options available. Maybe it's inspiration. If so, come and talk to our experienced design team. We're here to help you get unstuck. Maybe you're putting off redoing a room because you're worried about spills and accidents. Whether it's a pet in training or a growing family, we have flooring solutions that can withstand anything life has to throw at it. We have incredibly durable tile options and 100% water-resistant carpeting that's both beautiful and practical. We have options that inspire, designers who will help bring it all together, and always a beautiful installation. To get the perfect flooring, start with the right flooring store. Visit Meelan's Carpet One on Commercial Drive East in Yorkville.
Hello, Don Hartman from the Potting Shed Antiques. Nancy and I want to invite the community to shop the Potting Shed Antiques throughout the madness of March and save 40% off your entire purchases. Shop over 3,000 square feet and take 40% off furniture, antiques, jewelry, finished glass, china, art, clocks, lighting, and so much more. Excludes coins and gold jewelry. Save all month long at the Potting Shed Antiques or visit us online anytime at thepottingshedantiques.com.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Hey, and Sarah's Flooring Outlet is the area's leading flooring store for Pergo Extreme by Mohawk. Now, this is a product that is so much better than the other products that are out there. It's going to be the next floor we have to replace in our house. And our floor is fairly new. We went, when we had our kitchen redone, and we went with this product that is supposed to be really good, and it's that floating floor type stuff, but it's all separated. It was professionally installed, too. Nicked, and it looks like it's been there for 20 years. We'll be replacing that with Insera's soon. So says my wife. But it's not Pergo Extreme. This is a product that is dent-proof, waterproof, kid-proof, pet-proof, us-proof. It is an amazing product. And Insera's has the 60-mile radius guarantee. That is a 60-mile radius of their store. You're guaranteed to get the best price. You can get interest-free financing. Look at a coupon good for $50 off on the website. Go to InserasFlooringOutlet.com. Insera's Flooring Outlet, Route 49, Plaza River Road, Marcy, and online at InserasFlooringOutlet.com. Also want to tell you the official coffee of the Keeler in the Morning radio program is from Daylight Donuts in New Hartford. Chuck and all the wonderful people who work there, and make sure that drive-thru is flying. You are going through that drive-thru, in and out, and you're on your way. That's what you have to do when you're going to work in the morning. You don't want to be sitting in a long line. There are places you can go to get your coffee in the line. Yeah, you'll sit there for 20 minutes. Not at Daylight Donuts. And you're getting Seattle's best coffee. It is Daylight Donuts in the village of New Hartford.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
You know, you were going to ask some questions, and I was going to try to answer, but now we have NBC News reporter Ryan Nobles, who is standing by, can answer these questions for us. Hi, Ryan. Good morning.
I can't wait to see what questions I'm answering. This is going to be exciting.
First of all, you know that I can't talk about the Brent Axe stuff.
Yes.
But
no, you can't.
You know, I my restrictions do not prevent anybody else from giving an opinion. What do you think?
Well, listen, I have a long-term relationship with Brent Axe. He was one of the first people that I met when I moved to Central New York. Brad Davies and he were among the most welcoming people to me when I started my career in Utica. I've been someone who's tracked his career since I've left. He's among a small group of broadcasters who I feel keep me connected to my hometown. There's some guys in Buffalo who I listen to on a regular basis, and Brent, I think, is the authority on Syracuse sports. I don't think anybody lives and breathes it more than he does.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm not going to say that I listen to him every single day, but I certainly have been someone who has echoed his concerns about the course of the program over the last 5 years or so. And the idea that, you know, someone who's supposed to be the voice of the fan, who is supposed to provide an unbiased and unvarnished assessment of what's going on with the program, could have potentially lost his job because of that reason. And it's interesting that is the reason that they gave for him to be removed from that position. I think is, you know, it's disappointing because I am personal friends with Brent.
Right.
So from that perspective, I obviously have a bias in that respect. But just also a consumer of Syracuse sports, it really disappoints me that there isn't going to be somebody out there on a day-to-day basis. He obviously still has an enormous platform at Syracuse.com, but to have someone who's not going to be on the radio every day giving us an assessment that isn't the company line, I think is a disservice to everybody involved in the product. So it's a bummer, and I feel bad for Brent, and I feel bad for the people that listen to him every day.
Yeah, and the fact that it was publicly pronounced, that was the reason. That was
yeah, well, I mean, I guess we should give them some credit for being honest about the fact.
Yeah, honesty is a good thing.
But I think, like, you know, you can get into like the back and forth, and there's business decisions that are made in this. But like you know, for me as a fan, I don't need someone to just tell me that it's sunny outside when it's pouring rain.
Right,
you know,
right.
I need someone. And listen, I am as big a fan as Jim Boeheim as anyone. I remember my dad bragging about having breakfast with him when he was a junior. My dad was a junior high basketball coach, and he went to a basketball conference. He's somebody who, you know, Syracuse basketball has been part of my DNA my entire life.
Yep.
And so I am as sad as anyone that he's not going to be the coach there anymore. But if you honestly feel like the last 5 years have been okay,
right,
and you think that there was no criticism due, then you're living in a fantasy world.
Yeah.
And it is the job of a sports talk show host, just like it's your job as a news radio host, to call out the BS where it exists.
Yeah.
And so the fact that he was penalized for doing his job, I think, is what frustrates me the most. But I probably already said too much.
Listen, I have no opinion on what you just said at all. So, but thanks for saying it. Listen, and by the way, I hope you have such a nice dissertation about me when I get fired, because you know it's coming. I mean, it's probably months, just weeks away.
In all due fairness, Bill, I think I've been there when you've been fired before.
You've been through them, yes.
Yes,
you have been.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, why I don't have an opinion on this topic. So,
yes, exactly.
Okay. Tim Reed is in studio this morning. We're going through some sickness in the building, and, you know, that's where we live today. But you had a question about the balloons.
Yeah, Ryan. So I had a question in regards to, we know about the one balloon that traveled across the country and they shot it down, and I guess they dragged it out of the ocean. What was the rest of the story in regards to the other three, whatever they were, that flew over the country that got shot down? It seems like we we pay attention to one thing, and then all of a sudden now we're looking on someone else. But it never felt like that kind of loop got completed. Was that ever released?
Right, Tim. No, your assessment of that is correct. I think what had happened was at that time there was an overcorrection to the monitoring and discovery of these unidentified objects that were flying across the country, and as a result, they went from never shooting them down to shooting everything down that they saw. I think you saw. I think the Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin specifically said that they had adjusted the way they use their radar. They were accustomed to only tracking things that were moving at a certain speed, and that brought in a whole new orbit. But to answer your broader question, like, did they ever find that stuff? Did they look and figure out what it was? I mean, there was some theorization that it was, scientific research, but no one ever said that conclusively. They more or less just said that they were no longer a threat. I know that at least in one case, one of them was way up in the Arctic Circle, and they thought chances of recovering it were very slim just because of the terrain.
Right.
But it is a good example of how things become massive, massive stories, and then we all just kind of forget about them, and there's very little follow-up. And I think the Department of Defense probably should give somewhat of and there could be classified briefings on this that we're not aware of, but exactly what they found and why they took those steps.
I think there was an amateur balloon group that actually came out and said, they didn't say it was definitely theirs, but they did say, we have a balloon that was missing. It was flying over Lake Huron, and we don't know where it is.
That's true. They did. Yeah, but it was never. But to Tim's point, no one ever came out and definitively said, this is what happened. It's been a lot of like, it could be this, it could be that, but never any kind of.
And then it feeds the. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong or whatever it is, the alien narrative.
Right.
Because, they don't want you to know because, you know.
Because we can't handle the truth.
Right.
Right. And, you were around, Ryan, when I think we gave away the Bruce Springsteen tickets, and we used helium balloons, and we set them off in Washington Mills. And it was like 2 days later, we got a call from a guy in Vermont who won the tickets from Washington Mills to Vermont at Flume.
That probably really helped your ratings.
Yeah, it was really big. We were number one in Vermont. Really, really big. All right. Listen, Ryan, we got you late. We appreciate you calling in. We'll see you on Nightly News or wherever.
Thank you, guys. All right. Always good to talk to you. Have a good one.
Have a great day. Ryan Nobles from NBC. Okay, that is it for us, though, right? We're done. Davey, thank you. Another big day. And Tim, thanks for coming in. I know you felt sorry for us, and you stuck around. Thank you.
Any port in a storm.
Very, very important. So, Davey, are we going to commercials here? Is that what we're doing? All right. So, we're back here tomorrow morning. We'll see how Jeff is doing. WIBX Utica Rome. It's 9 o'clock.
Hi, I'm Joe Carbone. Welcome to Harley-Davidson of Utica. Get a jump on your riding season with over 120 Harley-Davidson motorcycles to choose from. Harley-Davidson Motor Company 120th anniversary celebration is March 25th. Stop in for food, beverages, music, and lots of Harley-Davidson giveaways. Register to win a 2023 Breakout and a free trip to Milwaukee for the anniversary blowout. So come to Harley-Davidson of Utica March 25th for our great event.
You're so annoying.
You're so annoying.
Stop copying me.
Stop copying me.
Mom, tell her to stop copying me.
Mom, tell her to stop talking to me.
Kids will spend 10 minutes copying everything their sibling says.
You're such a doofus.
You're such a doofus.
How about 2 minutes to brush their teeth? Brushing for 2 minutes